everyone. Welcome to the Felicity Optimist versus Cynic podcast with us, your hosts, Melissa and Fish. This is a Felicity rewatch podcast. We'll watch an episode each week and join you here to talk about it. And, a reminder, the same one we always give. There's a chance that we could mention some spoilers as we cover this episode, because look, it's not a spoiler-free podcast. And shoot, this is one in particular. Who knows what we'll talk about? So just be warned. It's not spoiler free. I am Melissa, and I'm here with my scientific co-host, Fish.
Interesting. That's the word that came out.
That's the word that came out, and thanks for playing. Fish, how are you doing today?
I mean, scientifically speaking, I'm doing pretty good today. I really enjoy watching Melissa come up with these words because she clearly does not prep the word ahead of time. She could, but she definitely doesn't want to. She wants to give you the word in her head at that moment. And sometimes the word is scientific.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not right, but it's okay because that's how it is. What is that song? Not right, but it's okay. I'm gonna make it anyway. Is that Whitney Houston? I don't know. It's something. All I'm saying, guys, it's me. I've taken us off the rails.
Keep going.
What are we supposed to be talking about today? We're supposed to be talking about season 3, episode 14, The Breakup Kit. This one originally aired May 2nd, 2001. It was directed by Harry Weiner. It was written by Terry Treyas and Michael Zand. Those are some names we've seen a bunch of this season, I feel like. And here's the episode description. Ben's uncertainty about his relationship with Felicity is intensified when Avery extends an invitation to a weekend getaway in Southampton. Meanwhile, Molly returns to New York after a stay in a rehab center, and she inadvertently injures Elena's eyes while giving her friend a mud facial. While injured, Elena develops a crush on fellow med student DeForrest, Kenan Thompson.
Yeah, he is.
A skeptical Sean joins Megan in a seance to contact her deceased dog. Yeah, Fish. That's what they told us about this one. They did try to cover everything. That's the good news. Molly's staying in a rehab center. Interesting. Interesting they put it that way. Okay, so maybe that's what she did. I don't know. So we want to try to do something a little different with this one because we have so much feedback from you, the listeners, about Avery and Noel and Ben specifically. And it feels very targeted to this episode. And what we have learned is that when you mention Avery, you're going to get some thoughts. And when you mention Avery in relationship to Ben and maybe even Noel, you're going to get some thoughts. And when you talk about the breakup kit, you're going to get some more thoughts. And so we have a lot of your thoughts. And they feel so all over the map. Like, I think it really will come to show like how polarizing these storylines are in this particular moment, just to hear from you. So normally we do after you listen to this tape, you have to erase it at the end. But we thought we'd try highlighting you all up front, because before Fish and I get like really set in our ways and old and cranky about our takes on this, what if we started by hearing yours and like the very different takes you all have on this? And then maybe we can pull from that as we go. So we thought we would just read through them because they often are counterpoints to each other, what you have to say. And then we'll run with it from there, and you'll just set the stage for us to give our amazing thoughts on this episode. So
yes, we would like to change the title of this section just for today to after you
Before you
listen to
listen to
this
this tape.
or after you listen to this tape, please listen to the rest of the podcast.
That's definitely a better
Yeah.
angle for today's segment. Absolutely. Well, it felt like a good way to start was with somebody who just sort of very clinically explains what happens here. So from Galena Druk's, treatise about Noel, she actually started with a whole history of Noel and Felicity from season 3. Here's what she said. Ben is literally going off with Avery in the Hamptons, and Ben and Felicity have broken up. Noel gives Felicity this breakup kit. He also showed Felicity the video of Ben to convince her of how Ben felt about her, which mirrors Sean showing Noel the video of Felicity talking about Noel in the first season. Okay. Thank you, Galena, for introducing us to the rants we're about to get. Those things happened between this episode and last episode, right? Because it was last episode where Noel showed Felicity the video.
Yes. Which I did point out.
Mm-hmm, yep. So thank you, Galena, for setting us up. And now here we go. Ready? At Fool for Film. Avery makes me so cranky. She's a total snake. And then a bunch of snake emojis. Stay away from her hottie Ben. I swear she hypnotized him or did one of Megan's spells because Ben wasn't thinking straight when it came to her. Now we have at 90s addict _90210 who says, well, Team Ben here, but I still love Noel. He's a sweetheart. He was always there for Felicity whenever she needed him most. I'll never forget during all the Ben and Avery drama when Noel was there for her and brings her the breakup kit. So we're a Noel sympathizer here, I would say. Now Allison Atwater from her treatise on Ben is going to jump in. The Avery situation is a huge low point for Ben. He needed a swift kick in the pants for that, but I hate the way Noel tries to weasel his way in during a difficult time for her, as if she would suddenly jump on the Noel wagon in the middle of her heartbreak. Also, I respect that Ben is upfront with her about feeling confused, and ultimately, what happens with Avery doesn't amount to much. I certainly don't put it on par with what Noel did to Felicity with Hannah, which was, in my opinion, a much more disrespectful situation. I also love how Felicity courageously fights for Ben by traveling to the Hamptons to tell him she loves him. Okay. But Monica Grant has something else to say.
Goodness.
She says, what Ben did and put Felicity through with that Avery chick was cheating. Whether he had sex with her or not, he was in a relationship with Felicity and he left with some other chick. It was emotional and psychological cheating. It was really psychologically messing with Felicity's head and heart. At Soraya E28 rebuts. As much as I despise both Avery and Lauren, the Avery storyline did help Ben in figuring out his future, which was something he was struggling with for a while. Everything happens for a reason, bad and good things. We can't deny that what Ben and Avery went through together was intense. Ben was clearly affected by it in many ways. And he was also a young guy who was easily manipulated by all the gifts. But that's all it was with Avery. She was buying his attention even when he'd set limits. She'd persist and persist like a psycho. Avery never seemed like a big threat, as it was clear that he did not love her. But at Queen Shalana 75 is a little bit more confused than all that. She's like, ooh, this storyline infuriated me. And so uncharacteristic of Ben to behave that way. I almost quit my favorite couple after this unnecessary storyline. I just remember him constantly putting Avery above Felicity. Did we all watch the same show, Fish? Oh my goodness, we've got 2 more though. At Carmera says, I felt like Avery gave me so many feels because I think her character was used to being bought and buying others, that real friendship was lost on her. So buying Ben's affection seemed natural to her for saving her life, and someone doing something out of kindness seemed so lost to her. I still couldn't stand her, but wondered how her life must have been so lonely and sterile.
Wow. Avery sympathizer.
Avery sympathizer, indeed. They're in there. But then we're going to cap this one off, Fish, with a simple note from at Ruby and Simba 13. Avery is the new Julie.
Yeah, which if we were, on one hand, we said that a bit about Molly, we said that a bit about others, like who's filling in. But I think to really underline that comment, we have to remember how Ruby and Simba 13 felt about Julie, which was that she was a snake and it was okay that her father, actually, they were glad her father died.
Yeah, at Ruby and Simba 13, we've heard you so loud and clear on Julie, and you're not alone. We heard a lot of people very loud and clear on Julie. So for Ruby and Simba 13 to be like, Avery is the new Julie, I felt like that was a mic.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, and she's the devil.
Oh my goodness.
Dun, dun, dun.
I mean, look, all of that feedback is so cool and interesting and so different. We have people in here who get it with Avery, who don't get it with Avery, who sympathize with Ben, who don't, who are really angry with Ben. We have people who love the way Noel is being there for Felicity, and some who think that was sneaky and conniving.
Some people who just get cranky.
So we kind of have the world is our oyster, Fish.
Yeah.
We can't get it wrong.
Yeah. I was going to say there's no way we can get it right, but that's why we're the Optimist and the Cynic.
Oh, this all feels so right. Yes. We nailed it. But actually, you all nailed it. Thank you for starting us off and getting us kicked off with this.
That is amazing. I'm glad there are so many different viewpoints because it means that, one, I can think about that as I go, and two, like, at least some people will agree with me.
That's the thing. Like, there was one comment in here that really resonated for me, especially. And so that's probably going to be kind of an angle that I take in the conversation. And you all, might be able to sort of guess from how I've talked about Avery so far, where I might be headed here. But I just do think it's interesting to see that this is sort of it feels like this episode is sort of a Rorschach test, where we all watch the same thing and we all come away with a very different focus area or impression on it. And it's fun to see the vivid reaction, even on things where I saw it differently.
And I can almost guarantee that Melissa and I are not going to agree. So that should just really, maybe quadruple the number of times we've had disagreements. And we're already up to 3.
And I think it's fair, right? I mean, and that's part of the beauty of starting with all of your feedback, listeners, like, just to see none of us really see this episode the same way. Although I think we could probably all allow for how everybody else is seeing it. I do think that we come away with sort of different impressions, and I wonder why that'll be. I wonder if it's because of our own life experiences or, just certain things that we, with an episode like this, you go in with such strong impressions of the characters already before they take actions. So however you saw the characters before you started seeing things that were going on in the breakup kit probably influenced how you interpret what they're doing in the breakup kit.
Yeah, you know, I'm so confused, right, about who Ben is. And then Noel has just been a roller coaster from like season one. I mean, it's been a roller coaster with these two guys. So I I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm just having to react to this particular episode because in other episodes I've been like, you know, they're so great. And then they suck for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I think
know.
for me, this is very in line with what I've been thinking about the two characters. And I've had an unfair advantage on this because I know where we've been heading with this from the moment they brought Molly to the show.
Yeah.
If we go that far back, but also from the moment they brought Avery to the show. I have been aware of where we're headed. So for me, I had, I guess, a thesis statement around who Ben is specifically and also who Noel is. But everything has lined up for me in that process. So I guess I'm getting confirmation bias and you're getting real time sort of what the episodes are showing you.
Yes, but
Moments.
also I would say where I came in before we started watching is kind of where I am right now.
Okay.
So in a way, this is starting to look like how I have thought of them. And so if it's going to continue in this way, then I guess that's maybe confirmation that I remember a few things about it. Because I will say, and we'll get to this later, you all remember that I don't remember. I didn't remember Avery, didn't remember the house, didn't remember Molly and the whole James thing. Weirdly, totally remember DeForrest and that whole plot line.
That's fascinating.
And so like
you remember the whole plot line with DeForrest?
Yes. And so it's like, and I actually remembered Molly in that plot line.
Okay.
But I didn't remember any of the stuff about Molly and James. So it was so weird watching this episode where I'm like, this amazing house. I've never seen anything like, wait, I have seen this. Mm-hmm. So didn't remember the house, didn't remember any of that stuff. DeForrest, yep, remembered the whole plot line.
Oh my gosh. Well,
I know.
Without further ado, let's start talking about what we think about this episode because we're there. We're at that point. I think we've filibustered long enough. I think we probably need to go through this in order.
Yeah.
Especially because all of the Noel, Ben, Avery stuff weaves together so much. But I just was sort of chuckling to myself when I saw the way this episode opened, where we're going to the ladies' apartment, and Felicity has been on a tear.
Yes.
She has bought all of the huge canvases in the art supply store. All of them. No, there are no huge canvases left for any other artist in all of New York because they're all in Felicity's living room.
Yeah. I mean, it must smell awesome in there.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know if she's like applying turpentine here. Like, I think she's working so quickly. She's got to get it out of her system. And so it's coming out in the way of just like paint splatter and big abstract paintings. And
I just wrote angry painting.
Yeah.
And she's stenciling words, and it's
letters that are making maybe words.
Yeah, I think at one point I saw slam sheet come across, but that was the only thing I could actually come up with.
Well, the first painting here that she's doing says "shat,"
but as she goes and it pulls out and she puts more letters on it,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it becomes slam sheet.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's right.
I think it's two different paintings, but I think
It
we
could
get
be.
the idea that they're a similar style. Like there's lots of bold color, there's lots of like swirling, and then there's lots of
Yes.
splatter, and then there's lots of stenciled letters.
Yes. Take
It's
a Kandinsky and a Jackson Pollock and then put some stenciling on it and a little few drops of Starry Night. And there you go. It's Felicity's angry painting.
And I apologize to everybody because once again, and you've heard me say it before, but I don't really get art this abstract. I just don't. So is this good? Is this bad? Is this a Jackson Pollock? Is this a Felicity piece? I don't know the difference, to be really honest with you, but I can tell that this is coming from an emotional place.
Yes, it is
That I
definitely
do
come from an
know.
emotional place. I will say I'm not a fan of modern art, so I just dropped a bunch of big names, all of whom I don't like.
Okay.
So apologies to those of you that are modern art fans if I just equated some living room paint splatter with your favorite artist.
And you know what? Is this the podcast for you? If you wanted our hot takes on modern art, I don't know, but
Yeah,
it
probably
does
not.
leave you a vacuum to go into for your own feedback. Okay. You could
True.
educate all of us right here and now because you know we're not doing it. Um, that's right. If you're a fan of modern art, you just write to
Yeah.
melissafish@gmail.com and you let us know.
You let us know because the things that I want to talk about are those amazing jeans that Elena's wearing and that
Ooh.
fantastic top. And then Molly walks in with her hair looking good and the highlights, and she's looking healthy. So, yes, I think she's probably back from rehab.
Okay.
Um, but I would like to say, I mean, maybe not quite as a counterpoint to Ruby and Simba 13, but it is Molly here who clearly has stolen Julie's little butterfly hair clips.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yes,
Well,
has
so
stolen
you're
them.
right. All these characters do end up in this scene. Elena's going to enter first. She's asking Felicity, what's wrong? Because she's looking at the paintings. And Felicity is so sullen. She's like, nothing. It's fine.
Yeah, she's got her headphones on. She's not really listening.
Yeah.
Take it out. Take it out on the canvas.
Felicity is going to start in this very like, don't touch me kind of place. But she'll be a raw nerve soon. Like she won't be here forever, but she starts in this place like it's fine. I'm fine. It's good. I don't care. I'm just making angry paint. It's not an angry painting. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
she's
like
just painting.
yeah,
It's
she's just
what she
painting.
does.
Yeah,
She's done it for like 3 episodes this whole series.
it's exactly right. So Elena's like, okay, you're fine. Well, I'm not because I'm struggling with this Tracy breakup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the exposition we wanted. That doesn't
Mhm.
seem to have like I see no other reason for her to say that here except that they just wanted to remind us. Like because they don't really get into that.
Yeah, but it also goes to remember she was thinking about the boobs and then,
Oh yes.
Molly's going to come
How
in
could we
and
forget?
all of a sudden her beauty and insecurities and stuff and then that links to the DeForrest things. So I feel like it's a nice intro.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get a knock on the door. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
People have to knock or ring doorbells to get into this apartment now.
Mhm.
Molly has returned. She is feeling really, she's glad to be back. She feels at home being back in the apartment. She's clean for the first time in a year. Now we know she went to England, right?
Yes.
So I guess the assumption here is that she went to rehab in England
Mhm.
and she's clean.
Yeah, it's probably also actually I don't know their medical system or ours. Um I would guess it's less expensive. She probably went to see family and I don't know, maybe it's like state takes care of it with healthcare or something.
Mm-hmm.
But she comes in and she looks healthy. I mean, she was not looking great in the few shows, before she left.
Yeah.
Here she's like, I don't know, they've changed her makeup up and she's kind of glowing and she's
Mhm.
walking in and she's smiling and she's just she looks like a completely different person.
Yeah, and she wants to catch up. She's asking about Tracy. She's asking about Ben. Felicity's like, it's
What
fine,
bird?
fine. um, yeah, I think Molly can sense that something's wrong here in this room with the things that she just asked about.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But she's got a solution. And her
Yeah.
solution is a really expensive mud mask.
Mhm.
Melissa, have you ever tried a mud mask?
No, but so my only experience with facials, a friend of mine, Alyssa, and I, when we were living in Vancouver, we just decided to have a girls' night, and there was a store that had, I don't know, stuff like this, products like this to sell. And so we shopped there and we found like, a couple different facial products. And the whole point of it was like it was supposed to be organic or whatever. And they had like real, like I think mine had garlic in it and hers had
Oh,
something
no.
else in it. But it was like chunky. And so
Oh.
we put these masks on, and it was more like creams. And we put them on and we took these pictures and we just laughed so hard because mine mine had it was like cream with garlic all over my face, like
Ah.
actual pieces of garlic all over my face, and then hers looked exactly like baby poop.
Oh.
There were these pictures we took, and one of them we just had the perfect faces without trying to because it was a little gross. And that is my only facial experience. And could I tell you that I felt any differently after putting that on from before? No, I couldn't. All I knew is that I had put something really disgusting on my face. And I felt a little ashamed, but that's okay.
And there's picture evidence,
There
which
is
I
photographic evidence.
really hope you still have and we can post online.
I'm sure that I have it somewhere.
Haha.
It was like if you're going to have one facial story, it might as well be this.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or Elena's. Because I can say I have also never done a mud mask.
Okay.
I do not know what it possibly has to do with your corneas
Or burning.
or burning. It's mud,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
Has everybody at some point or other gotten dirt in their eye? I assume they then didn't have to go to the hospital for cornea burning. I did not understand this part. I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, I have tried different facial treatments and I've had my skin feel kind of tighter and stuff. Um, but no blindness has ever resulted for
Yeah,
me.
some things went horribly wrong here for sure, but we don't know that yet. All we
We
know
don't.
is that Molly has brought back the supplies for these mud masks and that
Very
Elena's
expensive.
game to do it.
Yes, it's gonna make her feel beautiful again.
Yeah. Now we're going to switch over to some Sean and Megan stuff. And Sean is coming out of the bathroom. He's learned all about meteors in
Mm-hmm.
his time at the toilet in the loft.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, is this making the scene feel more lived in? I don't know. I am unclear. But we do know that that's the most grounding thing that's going to happen.
Yes. Correct.
Because Megan is currently prepping for a seance with Pickle, her dead dog.
Yeah, which I didn't understand was a dog at first. And I was like, a seance for pickles? Like, pickles? So it took me a second there. Thank you, Sean, for clearing that up for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it just becomes clear that he is not a believer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's definitely not. He's firmly in the camp that you can't talk to the dead.
Or perhaps even hear back from dogs. We don't know.
Or pickles. If you're sitting
Or
there
pickles. Yeah.
in a spirit triangle or circle and you're like
Yeah. Dill,
kosher dill.
spear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Butter.
That's not or if you're here, speak to us. Come to the table now. Like it's not
Yeah.
happening. Okay.
No. Mm-hmm.
Just go
Sean
buy
is
them at the store.
clearly in that camp.
Yeah.
And
I mean, look, it's one way to save money to have a seance to try to conjure kosher dill pickles, but
I don't think that you eat things during the seance. Like you don't summon a ghost to eat.
okay.
I feel like it's a communication method.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, so we're gonna see. So Ben's gonna walk briskly through this scene, and Sean's gonna be like, "Hey, Ben, do you want to come to a seance?" Ben's like, "No, thanks."
Yeah.
And he
He's
just
like,
keeps
I gotta go.
walking.
Bye.
It was weird though because where they go from here with that dialogue didn't really track for me in what we just saw. I don't know if it did for you because Sean's like, "Hey, are you gonna be moping all the time?"
Mhm.
And I didn't
He
really
didn't
feel
seem
like Ben was
mopey.
moping. Yeah, okay. Okay. So that landed the same
No,
way
but
for you.
he was not really speaking. So
Yeah.
maybe that's sort of Sean's version of moping. Like Ben's not talking to me, he's like leaving again. But I think the point is that Ben has been
Yeah.
moping.
And I think that's helpful to know. I think that's important to know. And that's useful for how I interpret Ben in this episode and in this whole stretch of episodes. It just didn't feel like it matched what I just saw. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
okay, so that feels better to know that we're on the same page with that because I was like, what just happened? um, and now we move to something that might have been your least favorite part of this episode, where
There's
we
definitely some classical music playing, which
yes,
didn't help.
that's what I was thinking. It felt like this very Renaissance sort of classical art moment where you
Yes.
hear the Bach Brandenburg Concerto number 3 in G major first before you see anything
Yeah.
on the screen, and was like, yep, this is really going to resonate for Fish.
And then what you see is, dare I say, stupid. Um, Elena walks in the door with Molly, and she
Well,
has burned her
for
corneas.
yeah, yeah. The first thing we're going to see, though, set to that music is Felicity is actually now at this point of splattering paint.
Yes.
And this is where we see the
paint.
slam
Yes.
piece. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Noel actually is
happening.
the first person who comes in the room. He's like, you okay? She's like, He's like, lots of paintings here.
Mhm. And there are
She's
quite a few.
like, yeah, fine. I think Noel is picking up on the not so subtle cues that she is not indeed fine.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
then, yeah, we're gonna get Elena, the news about Elena having burned her corneas, because apparently that's the thing that's wrong with Felicity right now.
Yeah, and the treatment for burned corneas, which clearly is putting 2 Band-Aids over your eyes. Feel like that's not a thing.
I wanna think there was maybe gauze, like a piled up gauze underneath that or something. I mean, my assumption is the reason they did that was to keep the light out.
Sure.
Because you and I are obviously medical experts in the optometry area.
Yeah.
Elena and Molly are pretty much going to be glued together for a bit here in this episode, where Molly is now escorting Elena, who, like you said, is eye patched up. She notices that Noel has a very high pitched voice,
which I had never noticed, and I don't think it's that high pitched.
I don't think so either. I think it's it's certainly not baritone.
No, but it's not like way up there. So, but all right, her other senses are enhanced. We get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and can we just, Noel is going to take this in stride, and he is going to talk to Felicity about her painting
Okay.
and about, saying that she is like that PBS star that did the paintings really fast. And can we all just take a moment of silence for Bob Ross here? Thank you. I
That was great.
appreciate that. Um, Now he died
Oh
in
my God, I can't believe we
95.
just executed that on a podcast.
Yeah.
I am sorry, Bob Ross.
Yes. And he had died in 95. So
He
he
died
had
in
died like
95.
5 years before this aired. So uh
Is he
yeah.
definitely the person they were talking about here?
I tried to look up somebody else, but if you put like the only person that I can think of that you would put PBS and paint in the same sentence about
Yeah.
is Bob Ross.
I feel like if you wanted to refer to Bob Ross and make it clear that it was Bob Ross, you'd say happy little clouds or happy little trees.
I don't feel like Noel would say that.
Okay. So you think he'd say the person who paints a lot of paintings really quickly.
Yeah.
Well, so he's still pretty sure that there's something wrong.
Hmm.
He's like, you want to talk about it? And she's
He's like,
still
no.
just not, she's just not in on this. It's like, this reminded me of the line of dialogue from many, many episodes ago from season 1. The line is a symptom of some fundamental discord.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Was that the feud maybe, or if that was no,
Maybe
that
the
drawing the
one after.
line part 1.
Yeah.
And I just thought like the painting is a symptom of some fundamental discord. All of
Correct.
the paintings are definitely a symptom of the fundamental discord.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, he asks, like, do you want to talk about it? And she leaves the room. She's just like, I don't want to talk about it. She leaves the room. And then she comes back out immediately and is like, has Avery been around? It's like, so she clearly wants to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And Noel's saying, no, she hasn't. And he's like, for what it's worth, Ben seems upset.
Yeah. And then we get a call on the red telephone. The red telephone of doom.
Yeah. Ben's going to call. And every time Ben's going to call, Felicity's going to drop everything.
Yeah.
So Ben calls, Felicity just goes to meet him. That is the motif of this episode. Felicity with Noel, Ben calls, Felicity runs to Ben.
Yes.
Did you notice I also said Fen there?
And I just was going to go with it because it's a thing now.
It's a thing. I've made it a thing. I'm sorry, everybody. I apologize. So where is she running to? Where we're going to get an Epstein bar scene with Fen. Ben reveals to Felicity that he did not cheat on the test.
And Felicity's very supportive. She's like, okay, how did it go? Except, I mean, they're sitting down, and what really struck me about this whole scene is just how awkward it is. I mean, I guess they haven't talked to each other in a few days, and it's really, the whole thing is just awkward.
It is. And I think, we haven't seen them like this in a pretty long time, because a lot of their interactions have felt so lived in and natural to us, well, to me at least, in recent episodes. And then you get something like this where Ben acknowledges that it's been a few days since, or a couple days since they've talked, and that he doesn't actually know what to say or what he's thinking, but he just doesn't want it to have been more than a couple days since the last time they talked. So and
what he says is, but I needed to talk to you.
Yeah, just for the needing its sake. I think if you don't know what you're trying to say, it's really just about her presence there, I think. And sort of like the feeling of connection, and yet it leads to an awkward conversation where they're not really sure what they're trying to accomplish. So I don't know. I mean, because it's not just like any old let's just chat sort of conversation that they've had a ton of those. They just spend time together, but it feels like there's something more important to be done here.
And Felicity just zeroes right in on it. And she's like, all right, well, you're confused. You don't know what to say. Is it Avery? Is Avery why you're confused?
Ben doesn't know. He's like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. And he does in fact look confused and lost in this moment. And Felicity says, well, maybe we shouldn't be together then. Maybe you should go and you should figure it out.
Yeah. And I just have to say, oh, look, it's the return of Ben the coward, right? Making Felicity break up with him, just like he has done before, and he did with Julie. And it's like, yeah,
but that's
maybe
the thing.
This is.
I don't see this as Ben. I think Ben needs a minute. I don't think he wants to break up with Felicity here.
Well, then he should say something, because the thing is, Felicity still doesn't know where they stand at the end of this, clearly. I thought we shouldn't be together was a pretty clear breakup statement. But as we will see, they both kind of had different, perhaps, understandings of where they stood at the end of this conversation, which will evolve throughout. So, maybe it's Felicity reacting to the last time and just preempting and going ahead and saying this, not really realizing what it is she's saying.
Well, I do think there's an element of that, because I think if she had just said, maybe you should go and figure it out, that's one thing. But to open it with, maybe we shouldn't be together, is a really big, bold leap that I think if I were sitting across the table from somebody who said that to me, yes, I would think that they are resolved to break up with me. But I think her next statements, maybe you should go and figure it out, had that just been taken in isolation, I think she had more room to maneuver.
I think you have to be really clear with something like that. If you say go figure it out and you're talking about another woman, to me, that is also a breakup statement.
But I am also not sure to what extent either of them are sure it's Avery that's the problem here. Because Felicity says a number of times between this episode and, was it 2 episodes ago, where she's like, I know that you went through this thing with Avery. I can't compete with that. And I think every time she's talking about it, she's talking about the event.
I don't see it. From that first moment when Ben got into the ambulance with Avery, and the look on Felicity's face when that happened, to the watch, to the Ducati, to the now Ben's really confused and Avery's really moving in, and that whole back and forth that she had with Avery during the self-defense class, I think she certainly sees a threat in Avery. There may be more to it than that. But I think
never saw a moment in this episode where I thought that Ben was interested in Avery. I thought that Ben was confused, but I did not think that Ben was interested in Avery. I thought that he was uncomfortable around Avery in almost every scene that she was in.
Yeah, and we're going to have to look into those, because I definitely disagree.
Yeah. I think that'll be our fundamental point of what we're exploring here, because I think when in this scene, so Felicity saying, maybe you should go, maybe you should figure it out, is already kind of nebulous in terms of what did she say versus what did she herself mean. I think opening it with maybe you should go feels a very final, get out of my face. Or maybe we shouldn't be together, I meant to say. Feels like a very sort of final thing to say to open it. So he's gonna go. He's gonna follow instructions here. At the end of the day, he does need to go figure this out.
He needs to figure something out. He may not have to do it with Avery in the Southamptons.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're gonna then get World's Saddest Song. Olive, indulge me.
I had this weird 90s like ethereal music. It was weird.
Maybe it was the same thing.
It wasn't particularly sad.
That part lingers. Does that sound at all like what you got mapped onto your scene?
I can't really remember, but I remember it being very like ethereal. Like,
yeah, the end of it happens when of what I was hearing happens. So Felicity comes home back to her apartment. She hangs up her purse. She cries leaning against the door. It's a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah, I just wanted to pause on that because I think there were some absolutely standout acting moments in this episode, and this is one of them.
I think about this scene a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, like her just getting home, putting her stuff down, and just absolutely breaking down, putting her hands over her face, just and
then over her
way, yeah, and then the way that the camera pulls out, and you just see her so small and like, you know, just trying to get some sort of balance or rest on the wall. And she's so alone in that hallway.
Yeah. It's a small moment, but I remember that moment so vividly. It's actually like it's for sure worthy of an award. It sticks out for me in an episode of a lot of really good moments.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that part where she's leaning up against the door or her forehead is up against the door is where the music gets a little haunting.
Well, for me, it changed. Okay. So it went from the weird 90s music, and then they changed music partway through that scene. Yeah, it was two completely different songs.
So you definitely got something different than I did. So I was listening to Olive, Indulge Me. And that was quite lovely. Sad, but lovely.
It didn't ruin the scene for me because I mean, it was such a powerful scene that I just ignored the music.
Okay, awesome. Well, so we're going to go to Dean and DeLuca. Ben is working, Dean and DeLuca. Avery is going to come to visit him.
And she is just dripping money. I mean, this turtleneck that she has on with the jacket is just, I mean, all I wrote down was "so rich!" exclamation point. I mean, she's so impeccable.
Like, yeah, they definitely do a couple things to show you that in this episode. She is going to come on really strong because she had already told him about Southampton in the last episode. But yeah, I guess
she had talked to him about it. But I mean, I think this is where we're going to start to disagree because she comes in and she mentions it, but I feel like Avery plays this almost perfectly. Like up until she makes her big mistake, she plays this so perfectly. She stays just enough distance off, giving him all the space he needs, slowly pulling him in.
Yeah.
And he's got the Felicity smiles. This is where, he's got these happy smiles around her. She makes him feel a certain way.
This might have been the only scene where I saw that from him, though, because the moment he actually gets to Southampton, he is awkward.
We'll have to go through it.
what I gather is, so we heard her mention Southampton to him at the end of the last episode after, no, yeah, last episode after her victim impact statement.
Mm-hmm.
She mentioned Southampton. So I guess what would have happened then, because they leave that last episode, he hasn't answered her.
Well, he says, I don't think I should go. And
Okay.
she says, is that because you don't want to go or because you have a girlfriend?
So, and that's kind of where we leave that. So to get back here, it sounds like that is where they left it. He had declined, whether he gave a reason or not. He at this moment, he's not going to Southampton. So she comes to Dean and DeLuca. She's leaving that day. This is her last ditch effort to get him to change his mind. So she says, after a little bit of banter, she says, come to Southampton. And Ben is initially like, no, I shouldn't go. Avery then tries a few different tactical approaches with this. Mm-hmm. She's like, you should just clear your mind. Like, obviously you need your mind cleared. There's going to be a party. It's going to be a bunch of people there. It's not just you and me. And you'll have your own bedroom. And
which
she can
says
see
a couple of times.
Mm-hmm. And she can see, I guess she is feeling encouraged by him not shutting it down. And so when she hits, you'll have your own bedroom again. She has him. Mm-hmm. And they establish when they're going to leave. So we know that Ben's going to go. I feel like I do want Ben to clear his mind. And I'm wondering, like, any option but this would have been fine. Right? But like, what options does he have also? He's got no friends. Like, there's nobody else that's going to make him an offer of how he's going to get away. So if he's going to get away, it's going to be something he's spending money to do. I don't know what his financial situation is, so I don't want to assume that he's just going to be able to make this getaway on his own. But on the other hand, like, any option but this would have been better. But for Ben, I want him to have his space.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he could have borrowed Sean's car and just driven and like taken a hike.
Like a road trip. Yeah. I was really struck in this episode by how very antisocial Ben is now. I kept reminding myself that this guy was voted most popular in high school, and this is not the picture of a guy who could be voted most popular of anything right now. And like,
I think he could. I absolutely think he could. That like, first of all, gorgeous, right? With the smile and the like shy whispers and the, at least this version of him, like non-threatening, just sort of, slightly unattainable guy. Absolutely most popular.
Slightly unattainable. Fish. Well, he goes to a party and doesn't come to the party for a while.
Right. That is so... It's like you want what you can't have, right? So like,
I guess so.
It's definitely like a high school most popular guy thing.
This does not feel to me like what would have been it. I feel like if you were to show me a snapshot of Ben and his most popular guy in high school kind of days, if you showed me side by side a scene from him at a high school party and him at the party he's about to go to, I'm pretty sure that these two Bens are different looking. Like,
I think he probably would have been drinking more at the high school party, but I don't necessarily think he's the life of the party or ever has been.
I think that we saw the opposite of that in the Halloween episode from season 1.
He was definitely flirting with,
and he was
the
with
Pink
all,
Power
he was
Ranger.
Hanging out with all the guys, and he was with the Pink Power. He was always with people. And he was always engaging with them in some way, whether it was that he was making out with the Pink Power Ranger or he was, in a group of 4 or 5 people when Felicity first arrives at that party. That's what I think Ben was like. The Ben that I see in this episode looks so lonely and uncomfortable in his own skin that I feel like what happened to him? Like, I know what happened to him. We've seen what happened to him, but
Right.
how did, just as I started to think about what his other options were here, I fully acknowledge like going off to Avery's house was his worst possible choice in some ways. But I think it was a good choice to get out of Dodge. But when I really sat and thought about like, what buddy was he going to call to say, let's go on a road trip, man? Like, I couldn't come up with anybody. And that felt
did
weird.
he really need anybody? I mean, the whole point of being on your own and figuring it out is to like be on your own and figure it out.
Yeah,
Which
yeah. Well,
I
that's
did
his
get.
only option here.
Yeah,
Really.
and I did get that through the party. It was like he needed his space.
Yeah.
Like then he came out and he was talking to the girls and, getting his ego stroked and all that kind of stuff. So like, I don't know. I definitely think, yes, he is more standoffish and more like he just needs a minute, but that was the purpose of this trip.
Yeah.
But I still see him as like easily winning, most popular.
Yeah, that part will agree to disagree. I think he's antisocial, is what I was seeing. But I do agree that I think the main objective with saying yes was that he thought he was going to get his own space, and that's what Avery was trying to sell to him by the end. So I do think that was the major selling point of like, you will get out of Dodge, you'll have space to think. Unfortunately, she came with that package.
Yeah.
So, yeah. but nonetheless, so that's set up. They're going to leave at 4. Let's switch over to Elena and Molly. Molly is escorting Elena everywhere because Elena can't see. So she's going to class. And Elena's feeling pretty self-conscious about the fact that she's got 2 eye patches on and has an escort.
And everything else, right? I mean, let's remember she's got deep-seated physical insecurities now.
And, that's true. That's true.
Which Richard didn't help with.
No, he did not.
And so, Keenan is gonna make his appearance. He is gonna come on and he's gonna say, I'm DeForrest, and he's gonna be really nice, and he's gonna ask if she wants some notes taken. And Molly is just like, no, we got it. Like, she takes one look at this guy and she goes, nope, we're good. And Elena's like, whoa, hold up. Yeah. I mean, she seems interested. She's like, oh, I love his voice. It'd be really great if he could take notes for me.
He's asking if she's okay. He seems to care. Yeah.
And I love this. When he goes to get his books to come over towards her, she turns back to Molly and asks, is he cute? To which Molly does not respond.
Yeah, this storyline felt like, it felt weird. It felt like, first of all, it felt like you could not approach the storyline this way now.
No. Well, maybe you could, but I think you could at first, but there would be definite judgment.
I think the thing that's happening here is that DeForrest is overweight, and Elena can't see that, but Molly can. And so the thing is, the way this episode approaches this, it's not that it's the butt of a joke. It's that it's a judgment in this. It's like a very, I was trying to find the right word to put to it, but it was like Elena and Molly are being really shallow.
Maybe. I mean, I think they actually approach this whole storyline from a much more complex place than we've seen in most 90s shows. Because normally, you have this guy and he's like the one who never gets the girl, or he's the virgin, or he's the like fun guy at the party always making fun of himself. And like, DeForrest does some of that.
Yeah, DeForrest definitely has a self-deprecating
Yeah.
tone.
But from what I remember and what I start to see in this episode is it's coming from a place of, all right, I can't see him, but I like what I know as of right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Molly isn't stepping in right away because she's hearing Elena talk more and more about it's not physical.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, at some point, you do need to be attracted to the
Mm-hmm.
person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will have some things to say as we go along.
Yeah.
But as of right now, we've been introduced. She
Yeah.
loves his voice. He's being really nice. She's feeling good about this.
And I have to say, and like knowing that what's apparently this whole storyline somehow.
Apparently.
So
I don't know why, but I do.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing that I would point out is like what you're seeing is what you're getting with DeForrest. He will be world's nicest guy.
Yeah.
Like, as long as we know DeForrest, he will be world's nicest guy. He will be an interesting combination of self-deprecating and willing to set a boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Like a really interesting combination of that for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everything that if you like DeForrest right now,
yes,
good news.
It's very hard not to like anyone that Keenan portrays. I mean, I don't think he's just. I don't know. I don't usually watch SNL, but I will watch SNL just for him. I will go back and I will watch like his earlier clips. Like I love him.
I think this is another example of this show getting actors who just go on to do these incredible things. I mean, we see that from some of the main cast, but we're certainly seeing that some of these guest stars or some of these people that they bring in are very
talented.
Very talented. I think, Keenan, a lot of that was ahead of him, but I'm pretty sure before the season is out, like we're even going to get Terry Garr, who's going to come in to do some scenes with Sean and Megan, who, she had a very established career. They did a really good job of attracting some incredible actors who had both a body of work behind them and they'd have it in front of them too. So yeah, he was a good casting choice here, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to go back to Felicity painting.
Yes, all the canvases. And at this point, I wrote, this has got to be expensive.
It has to be.
Canvases are not cheap.
And they're taking up a lot of space.
Yes.
What is she going to do with these? Well, anyway, so like these exist now forever. What's she going to get, a storage unit? So Megan is going to take one look and be like, these are a lot of paintings here. Let me tell you about my breakup with Wayne Lennox. That's when I got my 2nd through 4th tattoos.
Yep.
And Felicity's like, up. We're not broken up.
I know.
Like your paintings would say otherwise, Felicity. Come on now.
Also, your words from like a couple scenes ago.
Yeah.
She's like, Ben just needs to be alone. And I wrote down, is that what was said?
It's not.
I really feel like that's not what was said.
It's not what was said. She says, I told Ben to go take some time. Which that was in there.
Yeah.
But that is not That's not actually what she said.
No.
When you open up a conversation
Right.
with maybe we shouldn't be together,
Right.
it's always so interesting to me what people think they're saying versus what they're actually saying.
And I don't
Um,
even think she said maybe. I think she just says, then we shouldn't be together.
yeah, but I do believe her in this moment that she thinks that they're not broken up, but maybe that's denial.
I feel like it's got to be a little denial because before she ever talks to Ben, she changes her tune on what was
Mhm.
said.
Yeah, there is a definite mismatch between what she believes was said and what was actually said, and
And
her
maybe she
understanding of
just,
this status is just a mess.
yeah. I mean, maybe it's what she meant in the moment was like,
Mm-hmm.
take a minute on your own and figure it out. And then she reflects back on what she actually said. And she's like, whoa, wait a minute. That's not what I said.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like that's what happened.
I think sometimes this stuff is so interesting. I was watching a show recently. I'm not going to name it. It's a minor spoiler of a fairly standard plot line, but there's a conversation between a couple where they're the guy is going to lose his apartment and wants to ask the woman if he can stay with her, but doesn't want to ask her if he can stay with her. And so says, like, I've lost my apartment. And the way he says it makes her say, oh, so you're going back home?
Oh,
And he interprets that as, oh, because I was hoping you were gonna, like, in his mind, you can see he was like, I was hoping that was going to be where you said, come stay with me. But
right.
instead, she's like, oh, so you're going to go back home. But the way he delivered it, that would be a natural thing for her to say. And so
Yeah.
he then runs with this idea that she wants to break up. He's like, well, then maybe we should see other people.
Oh,
And you're
wow.
just like, you're watching it. You're like, the miscommunicate. Like, I know what you're both trying to say. And I know how you're both receiving what the other person is saying, and your insecurities are playing on it. And this hurts. like,
Mm,
like, what the heck? And you just wish somebody could like help be a translator in those moments. Like, I think what
yes.
she really means is
Yeah.
that is what I was feeling watching how Felicity is here. And maybe Ben, but Felicity very overtly miscommunicates. like and it's and then Ben's doing all kinds of wonky things in his own head, right? So it's just like there are too many layers
And she
of
miscommunicates and she doesn't communicate at some points because Megan here comes out and says, look, I didn't want to be the one to tell you this, basically, but, you know, don't tell him I said this. It came from Sean. Did it? You know what? Screw Sean. Ben went to Southampton with Avery. And
yeah.
Felicity just leaves the room.
But where did she go? Because
So here's the thing. I thought she was leaving to go to Southampton,
right, but she
but
doesn't.
no, she just went to her
Goes to
room to
bed.
cry. Yeah, that
She
seems to
had
be,
this very purposeful walk, like she was going
yes.
to do something big, and then you find out she's just been in her room all day crying, so she
Yeah,
just walked really aggressively to her room to cry.
apparently.
I mean, okay, there's that. So then we're going to go to Southampton.
And all I wrote is house. Wow.
I had the very opposite reaction.
Really?
So there are parts of this house that I find wow, but when Avery shows Ben around, they stop in a hallway,
Yeah, it looks like a museum.
but the word that I wrote was sterile house.
Fair. But I
And
mean, when I said wow, I just meant huge,
yeah,
big,
I mean it's
expensive.
huge. It's huge, but like the when we were looking at some of the audience feedback earlier, at Karmara had mentioned I still couldn't stand her, but wondered how her life must have been so lonely and sterile. And that I read that after I saw this.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, that's exactly the word I landed on when I looked at the hallway. I don't know if I would say the same thing about every part of the house, but they have us linger in
Yeah.
that hallway when we first see her house. And it was like mostly white. I think she was wearing white.
Yes.
Um and what really stuck out to me for some reason there were these lamps, these freestanding lamps in the hallway that were just sticking out like a sore thumb. It was like the black sort of lamp stand, the white shades, and they were just like a tripping hazard. But there was nothing, there was nothing around them. There were no paintings on the walls. There were no plants. There were like they were just in it felt like the set designers had a budget and they spent it all on the busts.
Yeah, I mean,
And
there was definitely like sculptures, yeah,
mhm,
around, especially towards the front. I felt like that sort of, vaulted ceiling was the way it was lit was just bringing in a lot of light with all of the white. And
mhm.
so, yeah, I mean, it definitely, to me, it read museum, like
Yeah,
carefully curated, don't touch anything.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was awkward in that space. Ben
And
is eventually going to go into what is called his bedroom, and it looked different. It looked a little bit
yes,
more homey.
it has like what looks like a comfy couch, but what she's gonna, man, is she gonna use a lot of techniques here.
Mm-hmm.
So she just casually mentions, I'm going for a swim later, knowing Ben's a swimmer, and she
Mm-hmm.
had bought him a swimmer's watch, and he's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not gonna do that. And she's like, well, okay. He's like, I'm gonna go for a walk. And she's like, well, let's meet outside later. And he's like, all right. She's just really slow playing this. She's trying something and walking it back and then trying something else. And it's like, okay, swim. Nope, didn't work. You're gonna go outside. Okay, well, I'll go outside. I think she is a real master, and some of the shots that they where they linger on her face just
Mm-hmm.
shows you how calculating
Yeah, she's
she
very
is.
calculating. She's trying a lot of different things, but I also feel like, um, and I also feel like Ben actually did go there to have some alone time.
Hmm.
And
Def-
so he is at every turn like choosing the solitary option whenever he can. And so,
he definitely needs some time, but part of his confusion is Avery. So, hmm.
yeah, I guess, right? But like, then spend time with her.
Well,
Uh,
no, he needs to figure it out as well himself. He's going back and forth between spending time with her and spending time alone.
yeah, I felt like even the time that he spent with her was very separated in terms of how he was responding to her. So I am really he is going to articulate like not to spend a lot of time now talking about a scene towards the end, but he is going to articulate later to Felicity that it wasn't about Avery, but what he went through with Avery. And I don't know when he decides that.
Yeah, I think we have to look at that kind of as we go, because I'll also have some things to say around that as well.
Yeah. Because I feel like I've been seeing that the whole time. And again, I don't know if that's confirmation bias of like knowing that that is where he's landing in this episode. But like I don't feel like I ever really saw I don't know. I don't feel like I ever really saw the like he was being pulled towards Avery. I always felt like I was seeing that he was being pulled towards like what just happened with us.
I think there's a couple of key moments we can go through.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the only place that you could make that argument for, and I could believe it, would be the Dean and DeLuca moment. But the moment he gets here, um, I feel like he's already made the decision, but he doesn't articulate it until later, so I don't know. But we'll talk through. I think it's good for us to think about that as we hit those scenes.
Yeah. And I think another thing that's really great is the way that they go back and forth between the Ben and Avery scenes and the Felicity scenes, because there's this very stark difference between Avery's calculation and Felicity's, maybe not perfectly articulated, but very real emotional state. And so the next scene is Felicity, who has purposefully walked to her room and then curled up in the fetal position to listen to music.
Yeah. Sad breakup music.
Exactly. Which, I think I've said this before, but like, best advice I ever got about breakups was like, find a breakup song and just listen to it a lot. It helps. At least it helped me. Okay. So she's listening to sad breakup music, and who's going to come by?
Noel's gonna drop by.
Yeah, and why is he gonna drop by?
I'm fine.
He's gonna drop by because guess who? Megan told him all about Ben and Avery, and I mean, it's normal Megan. She's told stuff about Felicity, but in particular, I think it's important to note that she has told Noel.
Yeah.
Because she's not the only one who will tell Noel when he should show up for Felicity.
Yeah. Where do you think that's coming from for Megan?
I think he's seen as Felicity's support animal. Person.
Okay. So because when you said that, I was like, do you think that she's trying to fix him up?
No. Okay. No. I just think, she, like, either he asked or
she Megan was feeling weird about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after Noel mentions that, Felicity's like, I don't want to talk about it. And then she proceeds to rant.
Of course, as she does.
And I think the main points of the rant are just like, she can't focus on anything but this situation. She told him to go. And he went. And she is revisiting the conversation that she had with him in Epstein Bar, where she's like, if somebody had said that to me,
right,
I would think that was it. Like, I think we just broke up.
That's what I think she's been doing while laying there listening to the music, is revisiting what exactly she said.
It's like, how did he come up with this? Oh, maybe the part where I said, then we shouldn't be together. Maybe he interpreted.
Maybe he went because I said you should go.
Like, if you're gonna spiral and revisit a conversation, this is an unfortunate spiral for her to get into, because there is in fact some there.
Yeah. But she's not going to fully give into it, because she then goes on about confusion is just a cover. Ben already knew what he wanted, and he's just saying he's confused. And I think we just broke up, and frankly, she didn't even know that they had broken up. But I think there is something about this confusion as a cover thing, because it's not the first time that he would have done this. And he does kind of let people just make decisions for him, like when they break up. Yeah. He could have said anything, but he didn't. And
I just can't equate this in my mind to the Julie situation, because I think he's actually confused here.
Well, what about the first Felicity breakup
The first Felicity breakup.
where he made her break up with him?
Yeah, I can't equate it with that either because I think he's confused.
I don't think he wanted her to break up with him really the first time. He was confused about, how much he could give her at that point, and like he wanted to still be with her, but he wanted it to be like on his terms.
I think this is going back to like a prior disagreement, but I do think Sean had a lot to do with. I think Sean's voice had a lot to do with how that unfolded. I don't
All
think
I'm
that was in
saying
a
is
vacuum.
it's the third time it's happened. That's a pattern.
Yeah, but I see this as a completely different situation than those. Like,
And I
I
mean,
think
I
he's
will come to
legit.
say there are differences to this one, but I do think this trait that he has of not dealing and then letting whatever happens happen, um and I've called it kind of a coward move,
Mhm.
he can be confused and still say no, we shouldn't break up if that's what he thinks is happening.
Yeah. The tricky thing about how Felicity approached him, though, is that she sounded very firm about breaking up. So it's like, I actually don't think, I think in the other situations that we're looking at, it was very much like, do I want this or this? Um, I think in this situation, he's a lot more lost than that. Like, I think, I think he's sort of, this thing happened and it shifted a lot for him, but at the same time shifted nothing. So it's like, what happened? What just happened? What do I want? Why do I feel like this? um I think there's not really like a this or this sort of like, I think it's way too simple to say Felicity or Avery. I don't think that's the debate here. But it could be, who knows, right? So like, I think for him, that would be a very oversimplified way to put this, when in reality, I don't think that's the type of decision he's needing to make about himself here or about what just happened. Like maybe what he needs to be considering is what death means to him, or what life means to him, or like what the EMT meant to him, or what Avery means to him, or what like, I think there's so many variables in this situation that he is at sea, and he actually is very confused. And so when Felicity comes in and is like, take your time and let's do it apart, she actually comes off pretty firm in the words she's using. And it's like, I don't know what there is for him to fight there exactly, because it's like, well, am I going to fight for her to stay with me when I actually still need the time? And like, I just, I definitely can't put this into the same bucket for myself as I did the other stuff. It just doesn't look binary.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot going on. And I will want to revisit, I think, a lot of what you just said. But maybe during certain scenes where they're talking about it, well, they're actually talking about it kind of more
Mm-hmm.
openly.
Yeah.
We have some more information. But what we have here is just a very, you know, emotional hug
Yeah.
between Felicity and Noel.
Yeah.
Very different emotions on both of their sides, but, he is there for her.
Yeah. And he's like, I know what you need. I'm going to get what you need.
Yep.
And he leaves to go get something. Actually, Fish, can I put out one other thing that I was thinking about this week? And this might be really off base completely. Um,
Sure. We love off base or not.
let's just, I'm going to put this out there, and then you can either immediately say this is wrong or we can examine this further. But like, I was just thinking back to at the party, at the, and to All a Good Night, the holiday party.
Hmm.
And then we see the aftermath in the next episode of the shooting. And you and I remarked about how Ben looked very calm, and you thought that Felicity was also very calm. And I was thinking about how calm Ben was as he was attending to Avery's medical condition and like trying to get, people to take action around calling the ambulance. And I wonder if Ben has been in that situation before, not with a gunshot, but with his mom.
It's possible.
Like, I wonder if his calmness was actually practice. If, I believe we've established that his dad was physically violent with his mom. I'm pretty sure in the future, his mom's going to tell a story about a time when she came to him with a pretty significant injury. But that's sort of the only thing that we're really going to get about that. I think that I can point to. His mom is blonde. Both versions of Ben's mom that we're going to see or have seen are blonde. And I couldn't help but ask myself, is Ben calm because he's been in almost this exact situation before where he had to physically attend to somebody with a physical injury, maybe even when like in this situation at the party, the threat had left the room, like Sean and Tracy had chased James down, Broadway. But in the situation, if he ever had a situation like that with his family, maybe his dad was still in the room. So does this add anything for you, or is this like weird?
No, I think that it not being the first time that he would have dealt with it may help him remain a little bit more calm. But I also feel like if something like at least this bad were to happen repeatedly through high school, people are going to figure it out from the hospital records. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that it would be exactly this situation or even near, this level.
Yeah.
But I also think, and this is just the way it strikes me, I think it's a personality trait of his. I think there are people who panic, and there are people who freeze, and there are people who run, and then there are people who you really want around when there's a crisis. And he strikes me as one of those people you really want around in a crisis. I think it's part personality and possibly part environment from when he was growing up, that he had to remain calm to maybe keep his mom calm, to keep the peace in the family, that this is just something that is both learned and natural to him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Seems fair. So do you think there's any point in thinking of Avery as a mom substitute, or should I strike that from the record in my mind? Is that taking us in the definitely wrong?
Well, he was with Maggie and she was a blonde and she was, older, and I don't see Ben seeing Avery as his mom, but I don't necessarily, I can see Felicity as not his mom. Remember that we were talking about that, like making a different choice romantically. So I don't think he thinks of her as his mom and is weirded out and disgusted by that. But I do think, leaning into the victim mentality, that is something that maybe does attract him and, could be linked back to like the idea of you end up with, someone like your parent. So I think it maybe makes the division and the decision between the two of them interesting to look at.
Okay.
But I don't think he looks at Avery and is like, she's like my mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for entertaining that. It was a wild thought that I had that I just wanted to unpack a little bit, and who knows what we'll see as we go through the rest of this. But
yeah.
Hey, let's make it light. Let's head to a seance.
Sure.
Molly is everywhere.
Well, look,
Megan,
they had to have at least three people. I mean, if it's just Megan and Sean, he's not going to do it.
yeah. So Megan and Molly and Sean are in a spirit triangle.
Yeah.
They're trying to conjure up the spirit of Pickle. What is happening?
Sean just wants some Pepsi. That's all he wants.
Yeah,
Megan won't let him have it.
They invite Noel to join. Noel's like, huh? No.
No.
Megan's like, leave the room.
He's got stuff to do.
You're ruining the energy.
Yeah. Sean wasn't doing that already.
Yeah, so we've established that this is about to happen. And why isn't Elena part of this group? Well, she's back at the apartment. She's giggling on the phone, talking with DeForrest.
Yeah, they're having a little phone date.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting a little deeper in with the man she has not yet seen.
Mm-hmm. And he's offered to help her with her next class for taking notes. What a sweetheart this guy is, huh?
Isn't he?
Yeah, sure is. And then Noel's going to arrive back at the apartment, and he has a gift for Felicity. Mm-hmm.
He's got a shoebox.
They're going to have a conversation at the door because he couldn't come inside for this.
Yeah, remember when I said I really hope it's something for Elena and it's not the Felicity and Ben are breaking up?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what the breakup kit's about?
I remember. Yeah.
That's what the breakup kit's about.
Sure was. Noel has created a homemade gift. Now, I will give my note from an optimist here. Just about homemade gifts.
All right.
They're the best. I am not making any claims as to this situation, but I think that a homemade gift, when it comes to gifts, it's one of the most special things that you can do. Those, the kit with redeem one coupons, just the effort and thought that goes into, in this case, it was filled with experiences. But I think that a homemade gift can be a lot of things. It can be something to appreciate on your own. And I find that some of the most meaningful gifts have this same spirit. Like, for example, when somebody buys a koala and then records a wonderful Ben speech that you can hear every time the koala's paw is touched. That type of stuff is priceless.
Yeah, I hope you still feel that way when you get my first ever beginner's crocheted penguin for Christmas next year.
I mean, these are the things. These are the things. And, often they involve less money, more time to create. But the thought counts just that little bit extra, because that time went into it. It's the love.
That's what it is. And here it is. This ratty old shoebox is full of all of Noel's love for Felicity.
Oh my God. Well, and also a Toblerone.
Right, because that's just candy. That's not part of the breakup.
It's just just
Noel does not understand women. Trust me,
that's the best part of the breakup kit.
Is part of the breakup kit. 100%.
I would, if I had opened it, I would be like, Toblerone.
Right. Yes.
Yes. But then he had, a bunch of like coupon type things. So she starts opening. We don't get to see everything in the box. I have a sense that there's more in it that we didn't cover, but there was a free popcorn coupon to be redeemed with a free double feature movie.
With a guest.
With a guest. But he didn't stipulate it had to be him.
That's right, because that would be rude.
That would be rude.
It'd be weird.
Yeah. Also an Aretha CD.
Because he knows how much she loves Aretha.
Yeah, like the Aretha Theory. Then a book, but we don't actually know what book. It was a really funny book, though.
Funny book.
And then Eunice Crane's beef stew. His aunt
Well,
is actually dead,
yes.
but it's the recipe.
It's a recipe, and anyone can make it. But before the beef stew, there is actually a magic show, which
Right.
is actually just Noel doing a few magic tricks for her that
Mm-hmm.
she maybe hasn't
Which
seen
is
before.
he's not quite ready to do them, but he can pull it out. He just needs a little work on it.
Yeah.
The main thing is that she's gonna have to redeem one of those coupons tonight.
Oh, I thought he said you have to redeem all the coupons tonight.
No, it's just one of them.
Oh, well, that makes a lot more sense then.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, she makes a good choice. And were I the optimist here, my note from an optimist probably would have been around beef stew
Okay.
and how it should always have little pearl onions in it. Because, I mean, how many dishes have pearl onions? They're so good.
Okay.
So.
Wow. All right. Yeah. That is, in fact, the coupon she chooses to redeem, Eunice Crane's beef stew, that Noel is going to cook for her.
Yes. And good on him for being able to cook.
Yeah. At the very least, the beef stew. All right. So that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you just feel like Noel put every ounce of his feelings into that box. Yeah. Like when she opened the lid, she saw coupons and an Aretha CD and a really funny book. But floating up from inside the box was little hearts.
Yeah.
Like a mystical
heart bubbles.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Heart bubbles that she will proceed to pop over and over again.
It's so hard to watch. Yeah.
Well, we're going to go from that really touching, genuine moment to back to the Ben and Avery story, where I wrote, hey, Ben and Avery are sitting side by side on a pool chair, just next to this gorgeous T-shaped pool, and they're alone. It's just the two of them, and she is drinking some sort of hot beverage. And I'm like, where are the other people at, Avery? Because at this point, I'm not convinced she ever actually invited anyone else.
Okay.
But okay, we'll see later. That's not 100% fair to Avery.
Yeah, there will be a party. It's a daytime party. The next day. So they're having a poolside chat. Avery's telling a story. I didn't really sit and think about the ramifications of the story as I was watching it. So let's talk about it. Avery is sharing that she had a frilly bikini when she was little that she felt really cool and pretty wearing, right?
I mean, not so. I mean, she didn't say she was so little. She's sitting by the pool with Ben. She's like, my parents used to throw these pool parties, and I had this really hot red bikini that I used to wear around. And so she's sitting there talking about herself in a hot red bikini. And then
for some reason, when she was telling the story, I thought she was young, like
she definitely
young
said she
teens
was
or younger. Okay.
I mean, she was living in her, I guess her parents, this house. It's not living, but she was in this house.
Okay.
So she was younger than she is now.
So I guess the reason I went there is, so she says, when I was in the hospital, I saw photos. I saw a photo of me in that bikini. And I thought and she basically thinks now that it looked stupid.
So she's using two things here first, right? She starts with, hey, think of me in a hot red bikini. And then she's like, oh, and let me pull you into, and I was in the hospital. I think it looked really stupid. Isn't it amazing how perspectives change with time?
Yeah. So, okay, I see where
perspective of Felicity maybe and me.
I see where you took this. This becomes a more problematic interpretation if you think she was like 8.
Yes.
In this frilly red bikini. Because when she said frilly bikini, I was like, oh, for sure.
But she says hot. Okay. She says she looked really good in it.
Okay. Well, now that's two different interpretations for you all to snack on, folks. Um,
Yeah. I don't tend to think
yours,
of 8-year-olds as hot, but
yours, I
hey.
think, like, yeah, but you can feel pretty like high on yourself, I think, when
When I
you're like,
was 8,
I
I
look
was
pretty
not
great.
like, I'm so hot.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Um, yeah, I mean, I would have maybe put this more like I think I would have put her somewhere between
16.
8 and like 12
Yeah, I
if I thought
definitely went
about this story.
like
And you were thinking more
16.
like 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
Um, so well, that changes the context quite a bit, doesn't it? But yeah, like pointed notes about some of the techniques that she's using here. Ben, while sitting next to her, is being a little uh sort of there's like rigmarole that's happening here where he's like, thanks again for letting me stay here.
Yeah.
Like, she tells his whole story. Like, thanks
I
for
mean, he's listening to the story. He's in his head, right? And she
Mhm.
sees that he's in his head.
Yeah.
And so, he's like, thanks. And then she's going to pull on that. She's like, I just wanted to help. It's very clear that, you know, that you're going through something.
Mhm.
Um,
You seem frustrated and it's
and scared.
scared. Um,
And I wrote, are you sure? Question mark. Ben must have said something. And she
well,
said, are you sure? Question
frustrated,
mark.
scared. Oh, well, he says he wants to go to the beach alone.
Hmm.
Maybe that was the thing that like
There was something that he said where it was definitely like, because I was writing down the manipulation tactics, and
mhm.
it was like he must have said something, and she was just kind of pulling it back to like, think about it again. Like, are you sure?
The way they close, I didn't make a note about something he said that would have led to that, except that he closes the scene by saying, I want to go to the beach alone. Like he wants to go to the beach. And she realizes that he means by himself. Um,
Yeah, I mean, she's clearly like reading him throughout
yeah.
this scene and like slowly trying to pull him in. And here again, I mean, he's got the Felicity smiles again. Like he's talking to her, he's looking at her, he's acting shy, he's got the smiles that he like can't control, and he's saying thank you. Um,
I think he feels really awkward here. I think he feels awkward, like the awkward he felt, a slightly different version of the awkward he felt when Nicole was coming on to him so hard. He in that situation too was also like,
but I didn't
but
see that. This was the uncontrollable smiles. This wasn't
um,
the like, oh, take a step back smiles.
yeah, you and I saw something very different from Ben in this episode in some of these scenes because for me, at this scene, he felt pretty disengaged from Avery to me.
Yeah, and
Um,
I didn't,
she was
you
trying
know,
really hard to
he
engage
was trying
him,
really hard.
but he was obviously not paying attention to the story about the bikini. He was like, gotta say thanks to Avery. Now I want to go for a walk alone. Like,
I did not feel that at all. I felt like he was in his head, and that was the only thing that was kind of distracting him. But he was thinking about some of the things she was saying, especially that you're going through something, you
mhm.
seem really frustrated and scared. Like to me, it felt like that was kind of starting to pull him in. And I underlined this thank you that he says to her because we're going to see it again in 2 scenes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, we'll have to look at that.
And I think they meant to draw this parallel because we see these scenes back and forth. So just keep in the back of your mind that he just said thank you to Avery in a
Okay.
certain way.
Yeah. I think that the way you end up coming down on this episode will have a lot to do with how you read these particular scenes.
Yes.
Because I suspect that you and I are going to land in a different place with how we think about Ben coming from here. And I
I
think
can almost guarantee it.
And I think if you're looking at these scenes and thinking that he's like our interpretation of this scene is opposite. So
yeah,
that's going to impact how he arrives at his final conclusion, because I already feel like he's made his decision that it's not about Avery per se. It's about the scenario. I find it interesting that she uses scared as a word.
I think it's absolutely, I think that's one of the most accurate things she says.
What are the moments you've seen with Ben where you think he's been actually scared?
So I do want to have this conversation, but I want to have it
later
when Ben and Felicity are talking.
Okay. Yeah,
I want to ask you some questions about, because I bring my own experiences to this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in a certain way really in it with Ben right here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been through stuff like this, and you may have too.
In his position?
In similar positions. And so I know how I reacted. And so I wanted to like talk a bit later about like maybe some of like what you've been through, what I've been through, how we've reacted to that. And so this idea of scared to me was incredibly accurate.
Okay.
And her really seeing him and using it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think it's one of the things that it is one of the main reasons that he is still, I don't want to say even like interested, but almost kind of needs her in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I will need more context on that.
Okay. Well, let's first go to the seance. The seance isn't really going anywhere right now. It's not working. Sean's distracted. He wants to go make fondue.
And he's playing with the sage, which smells very sagey. It's rough. He thinks it's stupid and embarrassing.
There's some things that they write for Sean. Some of the stuff that they wrote for Sean in this episode felt like some of the language they used for him in the last episode. Just in terms of him, like, there have been moments when we've gotten a highly sensitive Sean, especially in his dealings with Ben. That is not the Sean we've gotten in this or the last episode. And I don't know. He's also this really rough around the edge, like bull in a china shop type of guy who will just go and say the thing. But I guess something doesn't resonate for me, and I don't know which one it is.
He says, feel like when we've seen the Sean with Ben who really gets it right, I feel like it's often because he is just saying the thing in his head. He happens to be right at that moment.
But this, maybe he says
the thing that didn't resonate for me was when Megan said, "Oh, I want to be a teacher. You should support me." And he was like, "You're absolutely right. I should." That was the sensitive Sean that I was like, "Whoa, where did that guy come from?"
That sounded like a Sean who had been to therapy and had that language, and that hasn't happened yet. So I don't know. Yeah, that also struck me. The sentence I guess I trip up on here is he says he's embarrassed, and he says anyone who saw this wouldn't want to be my friend anymore. It's like, first of all, how many of those people are you having in your head right now? Because
Noel's already seen you. Ben knew about it, and you invited them to join.
Like literally everybody we know that's in your sphere, except Felicity and like Elena.
Who also, Elena might judge him, but Felicity wouldn't. I think he's thinking about his parents, honestly.
Fair enough.
and like how he was raised.
Yeah. All right. That maybe puts some helpful context to it for me. Um, Megan is then gonna flex a little here, and she's gonna fake, but we don't know this yet. She's gonna fake being possessed by the spirit of Gaboom,
But
Sean's grandmother.
don't we know she's faking? I put faking right
Okay.
next to this.
Yeah, she puts on the voice. She's, calling him by his, well, she says Shawnee. Not exactly a nickname, but she's saying to him that, she left to be with his grandfather, and she's like, check the closet in her bedroom. She's got something for him. And then Megan comes back.
Yeah. Sean's a little teary-eyed.
Yeah, maybe something happened here.
Mhm.
Maybe. So we're gonna head back to the apartment, the ladies' apartment, where
Can
something
I
else is
also
happening.
I just want to highlight that we just talked about that entire scene, which involved Molly and dialogue from her, and we just ignored it.
Yeah,
I don't actually want to talk about it. I just want to highlight that she's
that's it.
useless.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, she's basically just like reassuring Sean at every point, like, no, it's like this is how it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, useless.
Thanks, Molly. Um, so you burn Elena's corneas, and then anyway. So we are heading to the ladies' apartment where Noel is cooking the stew.
Yes.
And he's chatting with Felicity, and he's trying to keep her, I don't know, he's trying to keep it light. He's
They're talking
telling,
about family.
yeah, he's talking about the things that the late Aunt Eunice was famous for, one of
Mhm.
which was the stew,
Yes.
one of which was holding her breath for almost 4 minutes,
Yep.
and one of which was writing very effective cursive with her feet.
Not true. Two two truths and a lie. We
To
found possibly
possibly,
two lies and a
right.
truth.
Yeah, I think it's possibly two lies and a truth in this situation. But, Felicity is enjoying it.
She
Um,
is.
she's going to thank Noel for what he's doing. And
She is. She's going to say thank you.
yeah, he's going
Very
all out here.
similar to what Ben said, almost word for word. No, wait, word for word. Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly what Ben said to Avery up above. And I think in my notes, it's up above in my notes. I just think they're trying to draw these comparisons
Between Avery and
between the
Noel.
two scenes,
Yeah.
between Avery and Noel, between Felicity and Avery, between like, where Ben is. I think, you know, they're constantly trying to get us to look at these people and compare them.
And, based on the feedback that we read earlier from all, everybody weighing in on the various situations we're looking at, I mean, I think there's a real polarizing view of whether, we had some who were referring to this as like really sweet from Noel, and like he's really doing something for Felicity. And we had one person go as far as to say like weaseling his way in, which is a really
Yes.
specific, like connotation there. So I think um, your mileage may
I,
vary
yeah.
on
I
like,
mean, here at this point, I'm coming down on the he's being supportive and sweet. Like he's making stew, he's not making a move on her. You know, he's he's putting 8 onions, 8 in the stew. Dude does not think anything is going to happen after 8 onion stew.
I don't know, right? I mean, I guess it's impossible on a rewatch to watch this without knowing that he is by the end of this going to try to profess his love for Felicity but be interrupted, right? So
Correct.
you on a
So
first
at that
watch
point,
like on a first watch, it's like this is sweet. But
right.
then on a second
At
watch,
this
it's
point,
like,
I'm coming down on sweet.
yeah. And then if this is a rewatch, it's like this is all moving towards this is my opportunity to tell her how I feel. Um,
But here's the comparison that I think is really important. So I think we are comparing Felicity to Avery a lot of the time and seeing how fake Avery is and manipulative and how real and maybe messy Felicity is, but genuine. And I feel like the same thing is happening with Noel, just comparing the scenes that we're going through. It's like Noel's trying to be sweet. Noel is also a super awkward guy, and he does not get his timing down ever, right? I mean, we remember the baby incident, not the Ruby and baby incident, but the I'm going to talk like Tracy incident. Like he's not a smooth guy. And as he goes along, he gets like sweatier and sweatier. And like, I don't see him as Avery. I can only compare him to like her. And what is she doing? She's doing like all of these really calculated, manipulative things. And he's cooking 8-onion beef stew.
Yeah. I think, I think I'll probably say more about this.
Eunice.
Yeah. I think I'll probably say more about this when we get to the actual like trying to profess his love for her moment.
That is, yeah.
So maybe I'll hold some of my thoughts for that. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see your point that they're trying to draw some parallels here, but that it's not a perfect one-to-one mapping. Well, we're going to go to Sean. We're going to go to Sean getting on the phone, excitingly asking his dad to check the closet. It's a voicemail. So he's leaving a voicemail to his parents, like, "Go check the closet. Something amazing happened." So he talks to Megan sees that this is happening. She's like, "Whoa, hold on. I made that up."
Yep.
That whole thing, I made that up because you were being
Because
mean.
you were being a dick.
Yeah. He's like, "That's so cruel. How could you do something like that?" But this voicemail has already been left. So that's in the can. That has happened. And now
back to Felicity and Noel.
Yeah, we're just a little bit further into this process. Noel is still cooking.
And here's where Noel becomes slightly more Avery-esque, I think. Felicity's saying, I blew it. And Noel's like, "But you can't cling on to him." She's like, "Yeah, but I didn't fight for our relationship.
I told him to go." He's like, "What can you do? Really?"
Yeah, you can't go out there, And she's like, "I'll figure it out. Like, I have to go there. I'll get the address from a friend of Avery's." He's just like, "Can't you call him?"
At one point, she's like, "But I didn't tell him I love him and that I want to work through this." And I was like, "I'm sure he knows you care."
Yeah.
It's just so transparent when you watch him. Felicity is not clocking any of this. But every time, like, Noel is doing his level best to minimize, it's probably not as bad as it's fine. Like, it's all with the subtext of stay here to eat this stew.
Well, yes and no, because here's where I see the difference, right? He is definitely trying to get her not to go out there. But whereas I again think the soulless Avery has no redeeming quality for why she has been out there, Noel looks at her and says, "Are you really prepared if things don't go well?" I think in addition to him loving her and wanting her and needing her or he will die, he really does care and love her and wants the best for her and doesn't want her to get hurt. And so when she says, "I'm going," he's just like, or he says, "But you're going anyway."
Mhm.
And then he just says, good luck.
Yeah, and I think he's putting on his acceptance mood in that situation by
Yeah.
the end of the conversation. But like, yes, to what you're saying. And one of my notes here, when she says, I didn't tell him I love him and that I want to work through this, he says, I'm sure he knows you care. And my comment in my notes was Noel losing energy as Felicity gains energy.
Oh yeah, I wrote down zombie walking by the end.
Yeah, like he's weirdly like it's like he's a balloon and somebody pricked it and
That again.
he's slowly deflating.
Kind of like when Ben dances on people.
Exactly. I okay, yeah. So I guess I like this metaphor. Okay. But it's like one tiny little prick and the air is just very slowly coming out of the balloon. And so he's not entirely deflated, but you can watch him as she starts to like, I'll do this, I'll do this, I can take this action and this action and this action, and I can call Sean's to get the car from his cousin. And like, she starts to noticeably like reinvigorate, and he sees it and he's exactly matching that in his like, I don't know, I'm gonna say de-invigoration, whatever the word would be. Like he's losing life as he sees her gaining it. And I think sometimes about you saying that he often smiles when she's sad.
Mhm.
And that felt a little bit like the opposite of, like the reverse of
Mhm.
that. Um,
Yeah.
so
I mean, so when I look at this scene, I've got, he's there, he's trying to help her, he's cooking dinner, and yeah, I mean, he cares about her. It's messy, you
mhm.
know? Um, and so as she is like, I have to go out there, I love him, da 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 da, of course he's like losing hope,
Mhm.
right? That
Yeah.
like this was his moment.
Yeah.
She was finally like, because she said they were broken up.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I have to look at it. I mean, I have to kind of look at Felicity, and I think you noticed it as well, that she is not noticing anything about
Like you
Noel
can't even
here.
say she's leading him on because she really doesn't get this level of what's happening in this dynamic. It feels like. I mean, I sometimes ask myself, does she? And it feels like she doesn't.
It, I think in this scene, it feels like she doesn't, but I think later it becomes clear that she does.
Oh,
And so
interesting.
then looking back on this, it's like, I think she was caught up in the I can get Ben back of it all and wasn't really thinking about Noel.
Okay.
But we know Felicity, right? She has a long drive to get up there. I
Yeah.
don't think the whole time she's she's not going to reflect on what happened with Noel as well.
Hmm.
So,
I think
like,
for me, it's way more ambiguous. I definitely don't think she's thinking about it in the car.
I think she's thinking about both of them on and off. I mean, I think she does have her mindset on like Ben, but like I can see it nagging at her as well. This thing about Noel.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, we're gonna get really fun. I just love Ben and Megan. I love any scenes they've ever given us with those
Yes,
two. Like
they are
they're
great
off the
together.
charts. Everything from more paint to sniff to like I don't know. I just the should do you want to come inside shock? No, I don't agree. I'm like shut the door. Like I just love these moments they get where they're so very on the same page, and in this moment they are really not, and it's so fun.
Well, I think Megan knows exactly what she's doing, and
Yeah,
Ben kind of knows what she's
yeah.
doing.
Ben calls the ladies' apartment because he wants to talk to Felicity. Megan's going to answer. And Ben's point is, can you put Felicity on the phone?
Yes.
And Megan's going to give a speech. I didn't write down the whole speech, but I think what we're getting from Megan is a long-winded, like, we weren't friends initially, and I don't know how we got there, but we're friends now, and I love her. And if you hurt her, I'll kill you. And she says it in a lot more words than that.
She does. And she starts with a lot of insults about Felicity. And she's like, but I was only partly right. And I feel like she may have been talking a little bit about Sean during parts of this.
Oh, interesting. I like that.
But she's like, I love Felicity. You know, that's where she comes down.
Yeah.
And
this whole time, because this is actually quite a speech, a fun speech that she is giving, where she does want to roll around to a point, but throughout, Ben keeps being like, would you tell her I'm there? Is she there, Megan? Is she there? Or what? Is she there or what? Yeah. And when she gets to the end where she's like, I love Felicity. I love her. And if you hurt her, I'll kill you. And then once again says, Megan, is she there? And Megan says, no, and hangs her up. And Ben rubs his head so vigorously in the Ben way we all know and love.
Yeah. It's like he is so frustrated at this moment.
Yes.
And that's exactly what Megan wanted to happen.
It is frustrated Ben rubbing his head because Megan made him that way. It's so wholesome.
It's real.
It's good, clean fun.
Real. Great acting moment from Ben.
Both of them.
Great writing. Amazing delivery from Megan. I mean,
give me more. Want more.
Yeah. We would like a spinoff now of just the two of them. So maybe for some reason being under house arrest together. I feel like that would be so amazing.
Oh, man. Okay, so we're going to go to Avery's house. There is, in fact, a party happening outside. It's daytime. But where's Ben?
Ben's inside.
Alone.
Ben is alone. And, well, he was alone. But at least here, there are people. So I was like, okay. Avery wasn't completely lying.
Yeah, at least
there are actually people at the pool party.
But we get the point that Ben has been inside for a while this party has been happening, because Avery comes in. They're in the kitchen.
They're in the kitchen.
Avery says, so you could come outside with the people, or you could stay in here. It's very man.
Yeah, she's like, I can introduce you around, or you could stay here. Like, do whatever you want. Again, hands off, right? She's pulling him in, right?
Yeah. Ben says, he'll come out, and he hasn't moved to actually do that yet, but that he will do it eventually. And then one of them goes to open a beer.
Ben.
Okay, Ben goes to open a beer. Avery's sort of angling in, puts herself in front of Ben, and she leans in to kiss him, and she does kiss him.
So she comes close to him, and she does the thing, right, where you lean in close to something. Remember when Felicity and Ben were, I think it was in the loft or something, they were in a room together, and Felicity was she was leaving, and she was at the door, and she was facing Ben, and Ben leans in like he's going to kiss her, but he opens the door. And I said, he knows exactly what he's doing to her right there. Avery pulls the same thing. She does the close lean in, and then she opens the refrigerator door behind him. And then she just continues to stand close to him and closer, and like he doesn't pull away. He doesn't
Hmm.
walk away. She gives him every opportunity to
Hmm.
shut her down and continue to let her slow play this.
Hmm.
And he doesn't.
Yeah.
And so she leans in for the kiss, but he kisses her back.
Yeah. He doesn't pull away right away. Um, and then, and then, but see, then I feel like awkward Ben returns.
Well,
And she goes into her whole song and dance of, I've
she
wanted
has
to
this
kiss you for a
like,
while. Even at the party before James came in, I was
she does
noticing
admit
you,
it was before James, which I'm just like, another point for psychopath.
which
Like,
is like, I feel like she just met them all that night. So that would have, I mean, he just got there himself.
yeah,
That can't be. It can't be because I don't know. I think they're saying that, but the timeline, he came in late because of the trees.
yeah. But I mean, clearly they were near each other because when the shot goes off, he's able to put his hand on her.
Yeah.
So she was like, I saw you there. And, it was even before James got to the party. I mean, just seeing
It
him
would have
didn't have
been
to
just like a
be.
moment. She must have just seen him. They might have had a quick interaction, but they weren't. This wasn't like they were having a long chat before James came in. I think that
No, but
this,
I don't think it takes Avery long to want to kiss
no.
somebody.
Yeah.
But for me, what I really, once they've kissed, they give you this shot of Avery smiling that I'm
Mm.
just like, oh, she's evil. She's so evil. Like she got what she wanted.
Yeah.
And she's just got this really like satisfied smile. It's not even like a caring smile,
Hmm.
It's just like, I got what I want.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And Ben post kiss is like his head's down. He's looking. I wrote awkward.
I didn't feel it was awkward. I felt like he kind of, sort of pulls back. He doesn't like leave or anything. He listens to the whole story about how much she wanted him. And then she's the one who says sorry and leaves.
Hmm. I feel like he was handling the situation the same as what I feel like what we're seeing here is where the thing with remember when Nicole brought the bag of dead rabbit that was
I
masquerading as a bag
do
of hot
remember that.
chocolate?
I mean, surprisingly, I do
um,
remember that.
yeah,
Yes.
because I'm never gonna
Great
let
scene.
anybody remember that scene with the right thing in the bag ever again. Um, I feel like, I feel like when we were talking about that scene, it was like Nicole is coming on so strong and he's being awkward and he's being uncomfortable, but how far is he going to let her take this? Like,
Well,
because
he's
he
gonna
was
let her take all her
never,
clothes off.
he let her take all of her clothes off, but then what if she had tried to kiss him? What if, like,
Well, we
we had that
see.
conversation when it was like, how far would he actually have let her go? And that was a situation where he was like not interested, telling her he wasn't interested, telling her that he was going to go tell Lynn. I mean, he eventually did that. um you know like, this is, to me, that actually lines up a lot with this,
See,
in terms of his physical
think
reactions to Avery.
I don't think he would have let her kiss him. I don't.
Nicole,
Yeah, because first of all, she was already naked. Um,
well,
and notice the difference in
didn't she kiss him?
when she was naked.
No, before that, I feel like I heard Nicole say I've been wanting to do that for a while. Maybe they were standing in a hallway.
Yeah, like next to a vending machine. But
That
like
sounds right. Yeah.
in particular with that scene where she comes in with the dead rabbits, notice how much distance Ben puts between them
Yeah.
as compared to this, where he does not put distance between them.
On the other hand, like, if given enough time in the same space as Nicole, you know, like, because Ben has put a lot of distance between him and Avery in a variety of, like, in a number of scenes, right? He's been going for walks by himself. He's in a different bedroom. He breaks up a conversation at the pool by going for another walk. Like, he's been doing that. And he's been inside the whole time this party was going on, where she had to come find him inside to invite him to go out. So, like, he has been keeping actually quite a bit of distance, but this is a weekend together, I guess. So it's like,
I mean,
at a
there's
certain
that.
yeah.
But also, let's put a pin in this and see how he reacts after the kiss.
After the kiss he just had with Avery?
Yeah.
I think he's awkward.
No. I mean, let's see what happens in the next few scenes, whether he puts distance between them or not.
I think he's awkward in those scenes. Like, you and I definitely had different reactions to what we were seeing, because when we see him next, well, let's get there. Yeah. So, okay, first, that's what we want to talk about. But first, we're going to talk about the apartment. Elena is going to receive flowers from DeForrest.
Mm-hmm.
She still hasn't seen DeForrest yet. She's thinking how sweet DeForrest is. Molly is feeling a little antsy, and she's like, I need to tell you something, Elena. But then Elena goes off on this whole speech about, it's just so nice to go out with somebody who doesn't care about looks.
He's so much deeper, you know?
Yeah, DeForrest is a deep guy.
Can Molly really at that point say to Elena, yeah, people who don't care about looks are super deep, but you're shallow and you should know he's overweight.
Yeah, Molly bails out of that reveal. And she's like, you know what? I will help you go to the doctor to get your patches removed. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I wanted to say this whole time.
Yeah.
It's awkward. So now we are back to the party, the thing we wanted to talk about.
Yes, what we wanted to talk about. So what is happening here?
There's a really fun song playing, by the way. It's from the Getaway People. It's called Six Packs.
I liked all of the songs during the pool party scenes. They were very like summer, you know, pool party music.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. But Ben is not fleeing. Ben is following Avery outside and being introduced around to all of her friends as the man who saved my life.
And Ben laughs, looks down, and looks uncomfortable, is what I wrote.
I don't think so. I think he looks like he's getting a compliment that he likes. But he's not quite sure what to do with it.
This party is going to be a real Rorschach test for us, because we saw the same things and interpreted them very differently. I see Ben after basically being, who's that guy who's still in your house and not at this party? I see him finally coming out to connect with people, but be not connected with them. Like, any of them, including Avery.
And I see a guy who has just kissed a girl who is not his girlfriend, and who is then following her outside to meet all of her friends and being lavished with exactly the type of praise that he has been craving around the hero complex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I don't know.
You know, not enjoying it.
Yeah, I thought he wasn't enjoying it. I thought he wants to be somewhere else.
Then he could have been somewhere else. She said, do whatever you want. He's not somewhere else. He's doing what he wants. He's out there meeting her friends, saying hi, having a beer, hanging out, the cool pool party. He's sitting down with all of her friends, hanging out, talking up to them. Like,
yeah, but those conversations, he is physically, so there's Avery, somebody else, and him at a table. He looks further away from the table than them. Avery has to keep reaching over to him, but he's not engaging in the conversation. Like, I look at the difference between how Ben is not interacting with the people at that table at the party versus when we see the montage at the end with him and
Hmm.
Felicity at Epstein Bar, and he's laughing with her and he's giving her a lot of eye contact and he's really like listening and participating in that conversation. Those are two different Bens to me.
But I also see Avery reaching out and touching his hand and his arm and saying he was my lifeline. And in that montage at the end, I see Felicity being the one reaching out and touching his arm and like, touching his chest. And like, he
And
made me
his
laugh.
reactions are different.
But
Like
it's a different
with,
situation.
yeah, exactly. Like with Felicity, when she reaches out, he's laughing, he's talking with her,
It's
he's
just the
looking at
two of
her.
them, and they were dating for like years. That
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that he isn't. One, I think he is attracted to Avery. Just on a purely physical level, he's attracted to her. I think he's flattered by her. I think he like really likes the type of attention that she is giving him, maybe perhaps in a similar way that Felicity likes what Noel is doing for her. And he's not shying away from it in the way he should if he is really into Felicity.
I think
And
I think the way you phrased that is what I would hone in on. He's not shying away from it the way he should, but I do
yeah,
see him shying away. Like he should be saying, I'm going to take a cab
yeah,
back to New York or
yeah,
wherever. I'm going to take a cab back to the city, or I'm going to take the Long Island Railroad back to the city. That's what we want him to do. He's
right.
not doing that, but what I see him doing is not like being called upon not to be antisocial anymore. So he is at the party, but he is not, to me, he is disengaging with people. Like he's there, but he's just like a seat filler. And Avery is trying to draw him in, and Avery's introducing him, and Avery's leaning over to him, but he is physically looking down, not talking to people, and being very like internal. So I just, it's hard for me to see that as any sort of sign that he's into her or that he's even into the setting.
Well, I
um
definitely think he's attracted to her. As I said, I think he likes what she's doing, but I'm not gonna, I mean, they've known each other how long now? A couple of
mm-hmm.
weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gonna be the same as Felicity, which is why Avery's gonna end up screwing up in the end. But
Mm-hmm.
I have some questions about all of this. Um, but
Felicity.
he doesn't leave. He does follow her out there. He does sit down with her friends. He does hear all these wonderful things. He does let her touch him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for a couple of weeks compared to the year or so, I don't know how long he and Felicity have been dating now, but it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is a couple weeks into him knowing her. Like, that's, I mean, you're not going to see the type of relationship he has with Felicity like right now with Avery.
Yeah, I definitely don't.
But you're seeing, I think I'm certainly seeing something.
Yeah.
I can't say there's nothing there on his side. He
Yeah, I
even
think this is the
says there's
beautiful
not nothing
Rorschach test
there.
of it all. I think that we just see two really different things in this episode. So, but I think that's matched in how many different things all the feedback we got was reflecting on also.
Yeah.
And like this is us nitpicking on this part of the episode where there are other people who provided feedback earlier that focused on totally different areas of the episode. So it's just interesting, like what really catches your eye. We are going
Yeah.
to see Felicity is going to pull up in the car.
Mm-hmm. And right in front of her is a gorgeous Porsche. I mean, that is her introduction to this.
And then she walks up to the front door and she
And when she's
knocks.
in the car, for me,
Mm-hmm.
she looks like a deer in headlights.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then she's going to walk up to the front door. She's going to knock. She's not going to get an answer. She's like, all right, I'll walk around the
She's
back.
gonna go around the side, but I gotta say, that fountain they have, I mean, as
Mm-hmm.
she's walking up to the front door, I mean, the whole uh, Felicity coming there, right, is
Mm-hmm.
already hard.
Yeah.
She pulls up and sees a Porsche.
Mm-hmm.
She walks by these like giant fountain to the door.
Mm-hmm.
Then she's got to go, oh my God, and like walk around the side and
Like
see
to
this
a,
beautiful pool and all these beautiful
and she is
people.
behind a gate.
She is behind the pool gate. Yeah.
Yeah. Which felt very symbolic.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
it's so intimidating, I would think.
mhm.
And
And
she,
then she's like kind of looking to try to spot Ben at the party, and then she sees him. He's at the scene we just described. He's at this table. There are three people: Ben, Avery, and this other person at it. And Avery's like reaching out to Ben.
yeah. And apparently Felicity thinks he's having a good enough time that she actually turns around and starts walking back.
Yeah, she's losing courage in that moment, but then she like you see her take a deep breath. She gets courage. She briskly walks towards the gate. She opens the gate. She walks in and she just charges forward to him.
Yeah, she walks right up to the table, just as Avery is saying, he was my lifeline.
Mm-hmm. And then she's going to give
Then she's going to say your
my
favorite.
favorite line, which is probably the only time in the show that it's not ominous for the other
Yeah.
person, but is for her. It's
Yeah.
like, can I talk to you for a second?
Yeah.
She's like shaking in her shoes. So Avery is going to, I'm going to say flex again. She's like, hi, Felicity. It was so
Yeah.
like, sort of like, she was not bashful. And
No.
Felicity's sort of not there for Avery. Like, she's nervous about Ben right now. So, like, she's like, yeah, hey. And, like, she just, it was very absent minded, but I felt like it was this very in control move from Avery,
Oh, yeah.
even the hello.
Well, and did you notice her face when Ben gets up to go talk with Felicity and she walks
No.
away? Yeah, Avery just sort of puts her head in her hand. And I can't remember if she like takes a drink or something, and she's just no emotion. It's just nothing. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you are so a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like, it's just nothing.
Yeah. Now we're going to get this is the weirdest thing. So the setting they end up talking in is great, but when we go to get there, I was like, where are they going?
Yeah.
They walk like behind a row of bushes
Yep. The
into,
traditional rich person row of bushes to separate you from your neighbors.
but then they end up talking. I mean, it's a beautiful location. Like they picked a good location, but they had to get us from point A to point B, and that was weird, the process. But then, as you do when you're rich, she just has like a meadow in her
Yeah.
backyard.
It opens into a glade, you
Yeah.
know, with
So
paid
wow.
deer and little butterflies.
But yeah,
Uh,
it's just this really stark contrast for me between I wish they hadn't walked us there because I was like, what why it felt like it felt like this is how the sausage is getting made and I don't like it. But
they're
that's
just
fine.
slightly off the golf course that clearly
Yeah.
is up the hill.
But I will say, so I think I mentioned to you that when I got my haircut like Felicity from season 3,
Mhm.
I brought two pictures to the hairdresser. One was of Felicity at the party,
Mhm.
at the holiday party,
Yeah.
and the other one was this.
She had really nice hair in this. I mean, it was accented, I think, because of her purposeful walking a number of times, but it had this really nice bounce to it.
And there was a nice color palette behind her as well, which I think helped. When I actually looked at that, I was like, wow, I can't believe I picked two pictures that were that many episodes apart. Because I don't know. They must have been doing a lot to maintain her hair, because when I had my hair cut like this, I can tell you that the awkward grow out phase starts early and you have to maintain it fairly regularly with haircuts. If you want it to stay, there's a weird zone you get into once you hit a certain point where it's like layered, but not good layers. So I'm
I only get
surprised.
my hair cut every 3 years, so I don't really.
Me too, normally. With long
Yeah,
hair, you don't have to very often. But yeah, at this phase, I'm surprised that I picked episodes that were what, like 3 episodes apart. That her hair looked somewhat consistent between those two.
it did though. Yeah.
So okay. Felicity comes here to give a speech, and she's just like, Ben, let me get this out. Uh, like, let me just talk. I've been working on this for hours. And she says, I guess when you have one of those moments where you know you're you're getting the opportunity to say the things you might not get another opportunity to say, feels like she made the most of it.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I know you're confused. I get that. I'm confused most of the time. Also, I know you and Avery went through something really profound. I can't compete with that. I'm not going to try. But here's what I didn't say to you. And then she sort of launches into the, like, we can work through this. I love you and I want to work through this. We've been through a lot. We've made it this far. Take the time if you need it, but no, I want to be with you if I can while you're doing that. Like, I want this to work out.
She starts crying pretty early on around the I love you. And she says, what we have is real, it's worth saving. And here I think they're just highlighting again, especially coming off of that nothing face that we just saw from Avery. It's like the genuine emotion versus the manipulation, right?
Yeah.
And Avery giving Ben, at least in my opinion, all the things that he like needs or wants in the moment, versus Felicity, who often doesn't know how to deal with Ben, as we've said over time. And this is another instance where Felicity has no idea what he's going through. And Avery, I think, either does or is so good at reading people that she can still give him what he wants or what he kind of needs during this extremely difficult time for himself.
Yeah, I think this is so. I mean, I really like this moment, this scene. I think Felicity is really pouring her heart out. I feel good that she had the opportunity, that she took the opportunity to say this. Because regardless of how this goes for her, you kind of want to know that you said this stuff.
Yeah.
Especially the her that's been lying in bed in a fetal position because she knows she didn't say this stuff, obviously wants to know that she did. So like she'll never in the future be able to say I didn't try, regardless of how this ends for her. So I think that's good. I think it's also important for her to acknowledge, like, you actually did go through a pretty significant experience here, and I know I don't have that to share with you, and that's a big deal. And I think that's important that she's acknowledging that. I think it's important that she's acknowledging that the only time she really mentions Avery in this context is like, I get that you and Avery went through something profound. I think the focus there is on the profound thing. And she's not lingering on like, you must love her. Like she's not putting that onto this. It's just like, there was this thing that happened and like, it was a big deal. So I like that she is saying things like that. Ben and Avery, I think that Avery and Ben did indeed go through something profound. And I think that they went through a different profound thing, each of them together. Like, I think, in your take that Avery's a psychopath, it feels like she's coming off kind of undaunted from this stuff, but that she understands what Ben's seeing in the situation and is latching onto that. I mean, she did have like the most traumatic possible thing that could happen to her happen. She died. She came back to life. Like that's a lot. And it should be registering for her in the similar way to what it is with Ben. I just think that she's too like brick wall to process things in that way. But she knows that Ben is processing it in that way. So in a way, Ben is actually alone in his processing of this situation. He thinks Avery's talking the talk,
Mm-hmm.
because she's trying to get through to him, but actually Ben's alone in this situation. He is the only person who is really feeling about the situation that happened the way that he is.
Yeah. But Felicity also doesn't understand what he's going through.
Yeah.
Although he, I think, does believe that Avery is going through something similar, or at least the way she's talking to him understands what he needs. So while he does hug Felicity, he also can't do anything about it at that point. He just says to her, I wish I could say something to make it better, but I'm still confused, i.e., I'm staying and you're leaving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He thanks her for driving out. Well, he can't believe that she drove out to see him. I think that he's moved by her and by this show of emotion, but he's still
Confused.
like he says it. So I don't think he's impervious to the display that he's getting from Felicity at all. And I think the hug is like he's compelled to hug her because there she is, like pouring her heart out and crying in front of him, and he goes in for that hug, and it's like he is going in for that physical affection. He's initiating that. But he's still as much of a mess as he was like a day ago when he drove up here to begin with.
Like, this doesn't fix anything.
Like, this doesn't actually answer the questions he was trying to tackle.
Yeah.
What questions he's trying to tackle, I don't know. But
well,
like,
I guess this is as good a place as any. I just kind of want to ask you, because I'd like to compare maybe our experiences. Like, do you have a moment where you like realized you were going to die? Like, fully, like, mortality. And do you remember how you felt and what you needed and what you got?
I haven't had a moment like that. No.
Okay. So I had a number of moments like that. I guess when I was a little, like very little. I can't say this correctly. When I was about Ben's age, right? I was a little younger.
Mm-hmm.
And, I went through these series of traumatic events. I was living in Africa for the first time. I'd never seen any of this stuff before, and I saw quite a few people like killed right in front of me. And I was around a number of people who died, and I got it. I was like, I'm going to die. And I just remember curling up and crying and saying, I don't want to die, with like, I was really scared. Like, I was scared to go to bed at night because I thought that I wasn't going to wake up in the morning. That I was just going to be dead. And I think it just freaked the people who were around me out, and they didn't know how to deal with it. They didn't know what to say. They really didn't say anything. There was like no comfort there. It was just kind of like I was completely alone, and I was terrified. and there was nothing that other people could do or say. And the things that Avery is doing are what you would need, right? She's being accommodating in every kind of way. She's like, you need to get out of here. Let's get out of here. You need to be alone. Be alone. Like, she's reaffirming everything that he says. She's putting him in this place that is giving him power, saying, oh, you saved my life, like he was my lifeline, at a point when he couldn't do anything. He actually wasn't able to do anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, I actually had people say, like, judge me, to, come out and say things like, well, why didn't you do anything? It's like, what was I supposed to do? Right? So it's like, I am in this with Ben. I get that he's confused. I get how attractive Avery is and how comforting and how necessary she is in this moment, because, Felicity doesn't get it. She doesn't know what to say. She is coming from a place of real emotion, and but messy isn't what you need at that moment. You need,
and she knows that she knows what she doesn't know.
She knows
how
that there's
helpful is
something
that?
she doesn't know.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know what to do for him.
Yeah.
And there are things you can do for him, and Avery is doing them.
Yeah.
And
I
so
wonder,
that's
I
why
wish we would
it.
get more. I wish we would be able to get more of Ben's thoughts on that piece of it. We only got a little bit of them, right? Because when we got them, it was the documentary right after the party, after the holiday party. Yeah. After the aftermath.
Yeah.
We get the interviews with everybody. We open with Ben, who says Avery died. And you think that you're heading in the direction of Avery actually died. But then they come back to him later and he's like, and then they shocked her heart and they brought her back. Or I think there was one EMT that we saw. And like they brought her back to life. And Sean behind the camera says that's amazing, and Ben says it was more than amazing. And he's sort of like drops into himself, looks down. He's like obviously revisiting some images in his mind as he's saying it. So I wonder for him, like with the way that you're paralleling your own life situations, which sound really intense. He had part of the experience you had. And then in addition to that, he had the experience of that person being revived. Yeah. And it doesn't sound like you saw that piece. So I don't know for him
I did see that piece for some people and not for others.
Okay.
And it wasn't like a heart shock kind of thing. It was like a coming back. I don't really want to go into like the details, but like it was a coming back from the edge. Let's just say that happened over a fairly short period of time.
Yeah.
And it happened for some and it didn't happen for others. So you kind of, or at least I kind of wonder, right? Why this person? Why not that person? Like, what's going on? What is my role in all of this?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be doing something?
I think it would be so interesting to have gotten more. We're trying to remember if we're going to hear him talk about it at all later, but which we might. But to this point, from what we've gotten so far, I just want to hear so much more about what's happening in his brain around death and life.
Yeah, and I mean, other than like serious breakdown I had that one night, not getting the responses that I needed, I just like I didn't talk about it for a while. And then I
Mhm.
had like that one time, and then I didn't talk about it again for like a really long time.
Yeah.
So for me, when Ben is looking down, when Ben is in his head, I remember what that was like. I
Mhm.
was doing that too. I was just
Yeah.
like thinking about stuff, and I was not talking to other people about it, and I was very distracted by
Yeah.
it.
And
And
I wonder
so
for him where the fixation is landing more, or if it's like equal. Is it the she died part? Is it the memory of her coming back to life? Is it both in equal measure? Is it triggering at different times for different reasons? Um, we don't have that information, but it's such a big deal, and I think in a way it's a little I mean, look, this is what this show is, right? It's a show, it's more a show about relationships than a show that's going to get like really existential with the death versus life conversation. Like they're going to do that through a relationship dynamic because
unless you're Noel.
yeah, I mean they do that for an episode, right? But I feel like the show's wheelhouse is in the relationship dynamics. So they're not going to have Ben go off on his own and be pondering the big life questions for the rest of the season, the show. But
But
I
I
do
think
think that's
it
what's interesting about
highlights.
this because when I look at Avery, I see that this is the show's attempt to tackle the conflict around that without being able to tackle it, which is falls really short because you just can't do that without addressing it head on. I don't know.
I mean, it's a certain take on it, right? It's
Hmm.
a person taking advantage of
Yeah,
another person's trauma and their reactions to it.
yeah. Like I will
Um,
say, Fish, that the his his exploration of this will keep evolving, but I don't know to the extent of him giving like a dissertation on death versus life.
no, I
We
can't
have to.
imagine anyone would want to do. I mean, I'm sure there's a few people that do, but it's generally if it's something that's terrifying, you don't really want to talk about it because it's brings it back.
Yeah, I
So
think
yeah,
that's what's hard for me about hearing people who are fans of the show. And we've definitely gotten feedback like this. We get a lot of feedback like this because people hate Avery. And Avery brings up these really strong feelings from people. And I think a lot of times people will be like, Avery, hate those episodes, hate this. Like you like, she wasn't, we didn't need this. I actually think we do. Um, because she is the only manifestation we're getting in this moment of a really serious thing that happened.
yeah. One, I like the actress. I think she's
Mm-hmm.
really good. Two, I like analyzing how she just manipulates people, I mean, and is a real
Yeah.
pro at it.
Yeah.
But also, in the way that you've been talking about her, I almost feel like sort of like imagine Ben's like a burn victim, and they put that fake skin on top.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Avery's the fake skin.
Oh,
It's like
interesting.
she's fake. She's not real, but she's doing all the things that you need. And in that moment, when you have a third degree burn,
Mm-hmm.
you need something. And so she does serve this purpose for Ben where he didn't have anyone else to do this for him. So his options were regrow the skin on your own, which is incredibly painful, or use the fake skin. And I
Mm-hmm.
think he chose use the fake skin, as I think most of us would. So I don't really blame him for that.
Yeah.
Um, but
I think that's
that's
a good,
kind of how I see her.
I think that's a really good metaphor, not one I would have thought of, but I like the idea of that. And I think that resonates for me. And it's part of the reason why when people like sort of boil this down to cheating versus not, I'm like, I just don't know that this is that simple. It's not coming from the same place as that. I think there's a more complicated like survival element to it. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I will say they kissed.
yeah, I mean, you can not like his behavior, but also recognize that there's a lot more complexity to this than
Yeah,
in a perfect world.
right.
If he wants to be with Felicity, he would not go with Avery, or he would go home
Well,
regardless of the cost, or
but
he
then
would lock
yeah,
himself in his room and not come out. Like those are options he has available to him.
but you
And
also kind of have to be like superhuman to do that.
yeah, and
Like
I
I
like
do empathize with what he's going through and the fact that he needed something. And I think this weekend away with Avery was incredibly healing to him
mm,
because by the end of it, once they come back, he is able to kind of see that it is fake skin.
yeah, yeah,
And what he actually wants is his real skin back.
yeah. And something that, I mean, you don't have the luxury of knowing this on this viewing as well as that. Look, Avery's not a forever character on this show. We do get, I think, one more episode with her.
Yeah, I was going to say it must be coming close to the end with
It's
her.
coming close to the end with her. Um, but even, you know, if on a first watch, when we get to like the closing scene where he has this bonding moment with Felicity, you could be watching it thinking, oh man, are they just going to brush this to the side now? And that would make me nervous on a first watch that like some other plot lines we've seen, they might just say, okay, that story's wrapped up, done with that now. And it might end up feeling like they can't do that with this. Um, they won't exactly. It'll morph a little. Like just because at the end of this episode, Ben and Felicity have reconnected doesn't mean that he's not still thinking about what just happened in his life. And is going to keep trying to find those answers. So, like, I feel better about that knowing what I know watching this, because otherwise I'd be really nervous given some of the stuff this show has shown us before that they
I
were
mean,
going to just
I'm glad.
disregard it all.
Yeah, because if it just like, yeah, I don't think that's a realization that ever goes away once you have it. I think
Yeah.
it's a bit, I mean, I think it's the end of childhood. I mean, I'm sorry, that's
Mm.
depressing, but like once you realize you're gonna die, guess what? You're not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
And you never get that like we're invincible feeling back again.
Yeah.
And I just, I've noticed myself getting a lot more cautious or like needing to have a real reason if I'm going to put my life on the line. Like
Mm-hmm.
before, I could just be like, oh, jump out of a plane, be stupid, cool. No, it's like if I'm doing something now that puts my life in danger, there has to be a reason, a
Mm-hmm.
really compelling one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think Ben, unless others start to experience stuff like this, Ben is in a different place than everyone else until
Mm-hmm.
they experience it.
Yeah. Um, and I think that's going to bear out
And if you're
in
saying
its
that's how
way.
he gets to old man Ben, I get
Mm-hmm.
that. Like he becomes much more cautious, much more like, not going to be the guy who gets on a Ducati and rides around. Like that
It's a little
makes total
different than
sense.
how that manifested for you, but I think that you'll see the root being this in how he
Yeah.
behaves down the road and the ways that he makes decisions. And like you're right, other people didn't experience it in the same way. So I think it's why I think of him as old man Ben, but I don't say old woman Felicity, or old man Noel. Like I just um Ben's just kind of on his own track at the moment. And And I can watch this episode with the comfort of knowing that they're not just going to brush this to the side like it didn't happen and pretend he's just like rebounded completely and then he's back to his old self. Like they're not going to make him do that, which is nice. So at the end of this scene, you're right. Ben's going to stay. Felicity's going to leave, but she says, you know what? I had to try. I don't regret coming here.
Mm-hmm.
She leaves. Ben looks after her. And that was the speech.
Yep.
And then we're going to go to something completely not on this level at all. So we're going to go to Sean and Megan.
Yes.
They're in the hallway at school. It was a little weird to see Sean in that setting, to be honest.
Yeah, but I guess he just had to be so excited while faking.
Yeah.
Also put faking next to this.
Yeah.
That like he had to go find her.
Yeah. So Sean's faking it. He's like, guess what? Great news. My dad went into the closet and found $2,000. It's amazing.
Yep.
Like, what?
No. But she has the playing card earrings on again, which I love.
Nice.
And he's gonna be like, you let me talk to Gaboom. Like, this is amazing. Something actually happened. You know what? I want you to go out and buy those patent leather boots that you can't afford. Just put it on your credit card. At which point I was like, faking.
Yeah.
Just put it on your credit card and I'll pay you back.
Yeah.
You deserve something special.
As you do. Yep. So now we're going back to the plot A again.
Yes.
Now, okay, so we're at the loft. So Avery and Ben have come back, but I don't feel like, I'm assuming the rest of it played out the way it was supposed to. They stayed as long as they were supposed to stay.
Mm-hmm.
But they're coming up. They're coming up the elevator. Where does this elevator go? I thought it went to the roof.
Straight?
Yeah, I feel like I've only ever seen people go. Is it meant to be a freight elevator for when you move in?
I think so. I mean, they brought all this stuff in. They brought the trees in.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. It's always fun when they use that elevator. Yeah. It's such a feature specific to this location. So the Avery and Ben are coming back. Avery's chatting about some guy named Clayton. She's like, yeah, just ignore him. Ben's like, he's fine. Yeah. Whatever.
She's going to continue to work on Ben, you don't regret coming. Like, she's still talking. And Ben is, like, his attention is off of her.
From the beginning, really. Like, he's like, yeah, I had a good time. It was fine. She's like, you seemed out of it, though, for the rest of the time there. And he's already not listening to her.
No, he's not. His attention, it goes straight to a pink Post-it note, Yeah.
Just
gotta see what that's all about.
Yeah, so he kind of ditches Avery there and he starts reading this message. And then he turns to Avery. He's like, look, I got a B- on my poli-sci grade. The one that I didn't do the cheating with. And
here's where Avery makes her big mistake.
Yeah, without really knowing Ben well enough to know that it's a mistake. She's like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I should have used those tests. He's like, no, I got a B-. He's
like, but
I'm sorry. That's so terrible.
She's like, but it's awful. He's like, but it's a B, but it's a B-. She's like, yeah, it's brutal, man. She's not reading the room. He's giving her lots of cues.
This is her big mistake. This is what happens when you're manipulating people and you really don't know them.
Yeah. But had she been even like watching his face, the cues were there. He was happy.
I don't know. I mean, the way he says it is more, I think, of a shocked look
Okay.
than like a I'm really happy. So I could see how she interprets that as, you know, maybe
Mm,
he wasn't particularly happy. It's not like he has a big smile on his face.
okay. That's fair.
Um, so this is definitely a mistake.
Yeah.
And she doesn't react the way that he wants her to react. He doesn't react the way that like makes him feel good.
Hmm.
And I just want us to like put a pin in that and remember that.
Yeah. So, all right. So we'll put a pin in that and we'll head to Elena getting ready for her date with DeForrest.
And here I have to say, I think this is the first time we've ever heard the doorbell ring. And it is a terrible noise. It is the
Okay.
worst doorbell ring I've ever heard.
Oh,
I thought like the fire alarm was going off or like they were buzzing like incorrect on a quiz show. I mean, it was a horrible sound.
so maybe that's why they were always leaving the door unlocked, so nobody would ever
Yeah.
have to use that
Nobody would have to
horrible
hear
noise.
it. I mean, now I understand.
Yeah,
That's
well, it makes sense now.
totally worth the danger.
Yeah. Well, Molly is a little nervous.
Yeah. I mean, Elena looks fantastic.
Yep.
And Molly's
And
gonna say she looks great.
hmm and Elena's gonna answer the door. She's gonna see DeForrest for the
Yeah.
first time, for as many times as they've talked. And she looks at him and she's like, "You're the beautiful voice."
Yeah, I mean,
Oh
he
boy.
clearly knew this was coming,
Yeah.
right? He could see her.
Hmm.
So, and he's lived as him. Um, I mean, she's gorgeous. She has this fantastic necklace on. I mean, her makeup is amazing. And he's just looking at her going, "All right, look, I understand if you don't want to go out, you know?
Like,
I get
yeah.
it.
Now that you can see,
Right. Just
hmm
let me know if you
like,
don't want to go out."
just be upfront about it. Elena
And
hesitates.
yes, she does.
She hesitates hardcore. It's a major hesitation. And then
It's
she's
not
like,
just a hesitation. She doesn't she turn around and look at Molly, or is that a little late? Yeah,
I
she
think
like
that might be
turns
after.
around.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's after.
Either way, there is going to be an exchange of looks between Elena and Molly. Like, you didn't tell me about this. And it's like, okay. So Elena, after her hesitation, she's going to say, "Yeah, let's go. It's on me. It's my treat."
Yeah. To which DeForrest goes, bad idea. And he's the
Yeah.
funny guy. He's starting
And
to be the funny
that's
guy.
Yeah, it's definitely his defense mechanism there.
Yeah.
But then we're going to see that awkward look between Elena and Molly.
And see, I didn't read it as you didn't tell me about him. I read it as she's kind of looked like it's like they're looking back at each other, and Elena is almost taking this on as a challenge. She's like, "I'm not going to be shallow." And she's kind of looking back at Molly like, "Let's see how this is going to go." And
Mm.
Molly's kind of smiling and is like, "Good luck." But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, the exchange of looks is insulting. And
It's very insulting.
it's very insulting.
And the fact that, yeah. And that's the thing about this story. Um, it's not played for comedy. It's played
No,
for insult.
it's played real, honestly, I
Mhm.
think. Because one thing I really like about TV today is that we do have more representation,
Mhm.
not just of like race and gender and religion, but also of um, of body types and sort of the like body positivity and things like that. Um, I at the end of the day, you do need to be again, you need to be attracted
Mhm.
to the person you're with.
Yeah.
And if you are looking for sexual or romantic love, I mean, there's a whole spectrum, right? If there's something else, then that's fine, as long as you're both on board with it. But I guess the bigger problem I have with this is, what is Elena doing going out with him in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
If she looks at him and is like, there is no way, why put him through this? Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's, to me, it's ego for her. She's like, I'm not going to be shallow. Like, I'm going to, I don't know, try this out, see if I can make it work. But a lot of it, I think, is her just, I don't know. I think it's just ego.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
don't like that. And
Yeah.
it is insulting and it is hurtful, but you know what else it is? It's real.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's go back to Felicity's bedroom door, where we find
Yeah.
Noel.
Everyone is just telling Noel about Felicity.
Yeah, apparently Molly called him and
Called him.
filled him in.
First we got Megan, now we got Molly. Everyone's got a direct line to Noel when Felicity is in trouble. It's like the Noel signal.
Yeah, they just put the Noel symbol into the air for him to read
Yep.
it and change into his costume. Felicity is going to be like, yeah, okay, so you were right. Bad things happened. I wasn't ready.
Yeah. But
No,
we have beef stew.
yeah, he's prepared to make good on the beef stew offer. They've already done some prep. Yeah, it's good news. So now we're going to skip ahead to them actually eating the stew. And they're reminiscing about freshman year. They're reminiscing about Sensa.
Sansa.
Remember that
Yeah.
time when we were dating? It was so funny and good. The sweet spot right before the Hannah and Eli of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't she say you were her boyfriend?
How funny was that? I ate lots of
Wasn't that
sausage.
hilarious?
Yeah, microwave. Remember those guys?
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're having that conversation. Noel's checking in with her. She has a line that I really enjoy this line, but it's actually harder to use in context in life than you might think it is. Where she says, he's like, how's the food? She's like, the food is good, but the dinner is great. Try to use that in your real life. It doesn't usually work. Falls flat. I'm just warning to all of you.
I haven't tried it, but it's a good line, but the way she delivers it is really sad. She's
Yeah.
sad. I mean,
And it also has a certain context to it.
Yeah, like her emotion is reading sad here.
Yeah.
Noel, on the other hand,
is
reading nervous to me.
When she says the dinner is great, he glows a little.
Yes, for that part he does.
Yeah, but you're
reading nervous. He says, "Can I talk to you about something?" And he looks so nervous. I mean, you could say he's glowing perhaps with dewy drops of sweat. And then right under that, I put, of course, Ben walks in.
Yeah.
Because Ben walks in.
He not only does he say, "Can I talk to you about something?" which is a modification of a very Felicity thing to start a sentence with, but he also then uses her exact. So he says, "You need to don't feel weird," which is basically what Felicity says to Ben on the stairs in the first episode. I don't know, you feel weird about this. Noel does not know that Felicity used that language, but I do feel like the writers were trying to call us back to that.
And to say, the situation is weird. Like, you just went out to try to get him back, and I'm about to profess my love to you. This is what I mean by Noel does not have good timing.
There is a real car crash. Smooth. This is absolutely. I wonder, Noel stands. Were you rooting for Noel in this moment? Did you want, or were you afraid of the car crash of it all that was about to happen?
I was afraid of the car crash of it all. Okay. I was like, of course Ben walks in, but also, thank God Ben walked in.
I know, right? It doesn't feel like this is headed to a good place for Noel. So it's hard to imagine that the people, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, if you wanted Felicity and Noel to be together in this moment, are you hoping this will happen? But it feels like he's not set up for success here at all.
No.
If anything, he's set up for a heartbreaking failure.
Yes. Correct.
Like, because even in a world where, I mean, this just happened.
Yeah. You know, like, no, this is not the time, Noel.
Really fresh.
But this is what I mean about Noel. He's not Avery. Avery never would have made this mistake.
Yeah.
Like, he is just a romantic mess. I mean, it's
hard. It's hard to watch this.
Got real emotions and no swagger. And he just,
this whole scene and the next scene he's in are just like make you just bleed for Noel.
Crumble inside.
This is hard.
And die.
You're right. Ben shows up here.
Yes.
Felicity's obviously inclined to talk to Ben and leave Noel. And she looks back at Noel.
Well, I have to put some sort of award here on another amazing acting moment. Because Ben walks in and Felicity is kind of surprised and she does this eye flutter thing. Did you notice the eye flutter?
No.
Oh, she does this like, she opens and closes her eyes really quickly and like does this like, it's a flutter. I don't know what else to call it. You got to go back and watch that. It was amazing. It was not quite on par with Richard dancing with a tree, but it is a moment worth going back and watching.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then there's this really weird like energy that happens. So Felicity, obviously, her attention is with Ben. She wants to be talking with Ben
immediately.
But here's Noel and the stew. And so she looks at Noel as if to try to get his okay. Like, are you okay if I have the conversation I want to go have right now and leave you to do it?
And Noel looks like he's about to cry.
It's
like he just came back from the dead from when you left the first time.
Yeah.
He defrosted his heart along with the stew.
Yeah.
And now we're going to deep freeze it again.
Yeah. So Noel, I mean, what else can Noel do? Noel's like, yeah, okay. Go have this conversation.
What are you going to do?
And then Felicity and Ben go off to another room. Noel looks like a wounded deer. And then you actually see that Felicity's going to like wait for him to like leave or like not be visible anymore.
Walks away to the kitchen.
Before even though that she's shut the door already, she waits.
But there are windows in the door.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think about that.
The door is full of windows.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like I didn't even really see shades there. They must have a curtain that you could pull across. I feel like there is a curtain.
Maybe. They didn't.
They didn't. They're just having a conversation out in the open. But at least Noel has walked away for this. So
now you want to talk about body language here. Ben is standing there with his arms physically crossed, across his body, looking down, whispering. I mean, he is
for this conversation.
Okay. He's not looking at her eyes. I mean, he is protecting himself so hard. Right?
Because and he opens with giving her an out, which felt like a protective move too. He's like, you can tell me to leave. It would make sense if he did.
Because he's just realized that he had fake skin on. Yeah. And guess what? And he's like ripped it off and now he's got this open wound.
Yeah.
And Felicity doesn't know how to deal with him, but he's here for her and because of her, but he is being really I think, protective.
Okay. Yeah, I think you have a really good metaphor around all this. He's going to open with, after he opens with the, like, you could tell me to leave, and she doesn't tell him to. I mean, obviously, like, you wouldn't bring him into this room and kick Noel out to then say, get out of my
Yeah.
like, okay, I think we're past that, but whatever. The pleasantries
Get
we
out
had.
now. I want stew.
Yeah. It's like, make up your mind, Felicity. That would be another way that this could play out. Then he's going to say, coming to find me in Southampton was amazing. He compliments the move. He's noting the move. It was a big gesture.
It's one he's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, if we're being honest, went a lot worse for him. Not only was he sent away, he was done so in vigorous, violent fashion.
Yeah.
But so he's gonna put a finer point. He's like, look, I am still confused, but what I'm confused about is what I went through with Avery. I saw her die.
Well, he says it's one thing to know you're going to die, kind of in an abstract sense. It's another to go through that with another person.
Yeah.
And that's where I read, like, abstract, yeah, mortality, we're all going to die, versus, oh, no, like, I'm actually gonna, like, I'm not going to be here, and I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And I like that he's saying that he's still confused about it. Like, what I'm confused about, like, in current state of confusion is, and then he is able to articulate it for her in a way that I don't know that he's done.
No.
He did it to the camera, but I don't know that he's specifically said that to her.
I think this is the first time. And I mean, Felicity has an interesting response. She's just not going to address that at all.
Yeah.
So she's going to say, what happened in Southampton? That's how this is why she also, is not maybe the perfect person, right? But I mean, for this situation, let's say, she's just like, what happened in Southampton? And then he is going to flat out lie to her and say nothing happened in Southampton.
Except that I realized I didn't want to be there and that I wanted to be with you.
Right. Flat out lie.
I think, so I think if we're looking for pure honesty and transparency, I think it's an and. I think there was a kiss.
Flat out lie of omission.
Yeah, I think it's an and sort of situation, not an or. So I think it's like, there was a kiss. And what I'm saying about what this meant to me, like, the thing that's important is what I just said. I was with Avery when she died, like, and I realized while there that I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be here. I think that's true. And he omits the kiss.
He omits the kiss, but I also think he omits the whole part about Avery was really helping me through this. And, when I got back, I realized that it wasn't real. And so I want to be here. I don't think that when he was there, he realized he wanted to be with Felicity. I don't think he noticed until he got back and got that reaction from Avery about his grade that he realized it.
I don't know. I think we were seeing signs of it the whole time. And I think the fact that Avery, even coming up the elevator, was like, you just didn't seem like you wanted to be there for the rest of the visit. Like,
well, it seemed like he was in his head. And which makes complete sense because he'd gone through a traumatic event and he's processing it.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I saw him being in his head for pretty much the whole time there. So to me, that didn't look like, it didn't look like he went to Southampton. He was having this great time with Avery at all. So it's like, meh.
But he was, that's why I say she's what he needed.
Yeah.
Like, she was doing the things that he needed,
Yeah.
as opposed to, you know,
I think it's also worth,
revealing your mortality and then you're, Felicity
yeah.
being like, what happened in Southampton?
I think it's good that I think it's good you're clocking all of this. I think it's good that you're picking up on the fact that he says, like, the thing I'm confused about is what I went through with Avery, seeing like that she died and experiencing that with her. And then Felicity not even responding to that. I think that it just goes to show you that even still in this moment, um, Ben is going to now just be kind of on an island about this because there isn't really anybody he just isn't going to have that like shoulder to cry on that's going to understand him.
And that's the thing, is like, he could be honest right here, like with his words, but he's not going to be able to convey what he really means
Yeah,
to
like
Felicity.
the outcome of this conversation can be, let's get back together, let's go to Epstein Bar. Um, but there is an underlying problem for him in that, like, she kind of glossed over uh, a fairly major revelation.
But he also glossed over, you know, how, like, the role Avery played in kind of him getting to this point of recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't mention the kiss, which I think is a big lie of omission. I mean, you can say whatever you want about emotional cheating or not. I think he didn't know that Avery wasn't the real deal
Mm-hmm.
until he got home.
And the other
And
thing
he
that isn't
kissed her.
discussed here is that he just walked in on what he walked in on with Noel and Felicity.
That's true.
And I will tell you that all of this stuff is going to come up
Yeah.
in the future.
Well, I mean, they're showing us these parallels in all the times that Felicity is running to Noel and the relationship. Remember before when we were talking about what does this look like? Ben and Avery are going off to a game and Noel and Felicity are working together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not a great view for the future.
Yeah, so they're not omissions won't be omitted forever here. So there's that. These are loose threads right now, but they won't be forever loose threads. So there's at least that component. The more you talk about, like, I really do wish that we had a Ben and Pavone episode. You planted that idea in my mind, and I feel like we've been robbed.
I don't know. It would have been hard to get one scene
or in an episode. Like, I guess it would have taken the show into territory that wasn't really the show.
Well, and it also would have had to be over time. You don't just crack this nut with like one therapy session.
Yeah. But man,
I know.
So, okay. So then the conversation continues. Ben says, I got something when I got back that should have made me happy, and it would have, but you weren't there to experience it together. She's like, what? He says, I got my stupid poli sci grade back. Got a B minus. She lights up.
Yeah.
You got a B minus?
Right. And here's where I'm going to say this, and I think we are both, like, I think we're absolutely going to disagree on this. But I think if Avery had known how to react for Ben, this would have been a very different outcome. I think if Avery had lit up and said, you got a B minus, that's so great. And it just shows how susceptible Ben still is to external validation.
Mm-hmm.
He's run back to Felicity to get the reaction that he wanted to make him feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole part, him not talking about the kiss, him not talking about Avery, her reaction, the reason that he's there in the first place because of the B minus, the whole thing really rubbed me the wrong way.
Okay. Yeah. He's going to see this reaction from Felicity. He's going to take it wholesale. He's like, I'm sorry for everything I put you through. Thank you for everything. And yeah, he's all in.
I mean, she has to ask, are you sure?
He says yes. He gives her a hug. I
And
mean,
what do we get? We get the Carrie Russell vein.
yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some interesting stuff between them. Um, we are going to go back to the loft. Megan arrives wearing her boots, her new boots.
Man, are those some boots? Those are some boots.
Yeah, she's like, let's do another seance. That last one went so well. I just noticed that seance, Sean seance, Seanance.
What?
It's a spelling of seance.
Yeah.
You have to basically write Sean.
Huh. Well, I mean, as long as we're sharing these little things, I noticed, I don't know, a really quite a few episodes ago that Sean and Megan are S&M,
Oh my God. You're
right?
right.
Which I feel like really fits their relationship.
Look what's happening here. Yeah, so many word plays. So many word plays. Yeah, but not everybody clocked the S&M of it all or the
No,
shants, seance.
Sean.
But anyway, she invites him to do another seance. He's like, seances don't work.
Yeah.
She's like, but what about the 2000 with the boots? He's like, no, they don't work. It didn't work this time. And I'm not paying you back for those boots.
Call that a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
To
like,
which Megan normally would have broken up with him. But
she's like, it's a lesson for you because I use your credit card. Yeah.
Yeah. So the lesson here is don't give Megan your credit card. It's a bad idea.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to head to the final sort of part of this episode where I was hearing the song Happy by Wendy Matthews.
I don't know what song I was hearing. It sounds like a terrible song, though.
To make you happy, really happy. Your wishes were granted, but are you happy? So that's a song.
That sounds like a really bad song to
It's
be
not my
playing during
favorite
this scene.
song. Well, let's see. Yeah, I don't love the song anyway, but the idea here is Felicity's going to go find Noel.
Yeah. I mean, Felicity has gotten back together with Ben, to the smell of Noel's aunt's wafting beef stew.
Yeah.
And she is going to show up where Noel lives to talk to Noel.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where she was going with this because she starts out with what sounds like a few words that aren't "I'm sorry." She's like, I don't think you know. And I was like, where is this going? But then she's like, I don't think you know what it's like to know someone like you.
Yeah.
I mean, she's basically there to tell him she's back together with Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, let's admit, that's what this is.
And it reminded me of when Felicity and Noel, I think they got back together post Eli. And he said to her, something about like, it means a lot to me to know someone like you. No, not someone like you. You. The beginning of that wasn't quite right, but the ending of it was the point
Yeah.
where he ends up with someone like you, and then you're like, no, 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 correction, not someone like you. You.
Yeah.
She really called back to that for me in
Hmm.
my brain, but she leaves it at someone like you.
I thought about when she went to Ben's door to yell at him
Mm-hmm.
for leading her on or whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
just because of, I don't know, the fact,
It's
I
the
guess,
same
that it was
door.
in a doorway. And
Mm-hmm.
um, because not, this is the part where I can't believe it is no longer believable to me that she doesn't know how Noel feels. Because she's
Mm-hmm.
going to his door and softening it, starting out and softening it by saying, like, you're such a great, like, person. Um, you mean so much to me. But she's really there to hold on to him as
Mm-hmm.
this friend. Because, as she says, like, I don't know what I'd do without you. Like, you don't show up for something like that if you don't know how he feels. And you don't say
Yeah.
it this way. And you don't say it this way if you're a really good friend, because if you know how he feels and you're basically there to break his heart, then saying, I don't know what I'd do without you is like, again, him not moving to Seattle. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I for me, it's still kind of ambiguous how much she's really thinking about the situation. Like when in the prior scene with him, he starts to go into his, I need to tell you something, and I don't want you to feel weird about this. I was trying to read her face, and for me, I couldn't make out what that expression was. I couldn't. It read a
I
little too
thought
blank for me to be able to pick up on what I thought she was thinking.
I got an oh shit kind of look, like a, oh, this is happening now. Like, I thought she knew what was coming and didn't
I
want it to come.
I wasn't sure that she knew what was coming. I felt that she was sort of like bracing herself for something because that's how something would start if it's like a lot. But I I am still willing to have well, it's a weird way for me to start it because it's like a disappointing assessment, but I'm still sort of on in the camp where maybe she's too selfish or like in her own head and too wrapped up in her own dynamic with Ben to see what's happening with Noel. And I kind of feel like I kind you know earlier this season when she was like, I was too busy with my own stuff to see what was happening with Julie. I feel like she's going to end up, I don't know, I feel like she's doing the same thing here where Noel is telegraphing a lot to us and he's actually telegraphing a lot to her. And I think she's being oblivious. Or maybe she does know, but I don't feel that I know for sure either way.
To me, this reads like Molly. It reads like when Molly walked in the door knowing that Ben and Felicity wanted to kick James out. And she
Mm-hmm.
starts off saying how wonderful he thinks they are. I mean, I just call bullshit on this.
Okay.
She knows that he loves her. I don't think she's intentionally trying to hold him back. She knows she's hurting him, but I think the result is she's holding him back.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put a little asterisk and I put run Noel with an exclamation
Yeah.
point.
Noel's dying a bit here, a
Yeah.
lot. So it's not doesn't feel good. But then we're gonna get to a montage of people eating food.
Yeah.
We're gonna start with Sean and Megan eating fondue.
They both look happy.
Mm-hmm. Elena and DeForrest eating sushi.
Also happy.
Molly and Noel eating, I think that's pasta.
Very sad.
Ben and Felicity eating burgers at Epstein Bar.
Very happy. Reaching out, touching him, laughing. I mean, Felicity is super happy and Noel is super sad.
And Ben also is laughing and smiling. And I honestly forgot he could make those expressions. Like when I actually saw him looking her in the eyes and laughing and talking with her in an animated way, it occurred to me that it's been a minute.
See, and I don't think it has because I thought he had those same expressions, which is why I was calling them the Felicity smiles. It's like it goes to his whole face, like he can't control them. It goes up into his like forehead and his eyebrows, and he like gets all shy about it. And he was doing that with Avery for episodes.
But that's the thing. I saw something very different from him here where he was physically leaning forward and he didn't look shy. I saw the quality of his reaction. Like this was not a thing I feel like I've seen from him since, oh boy. I shouldn't have started the sentence that way because I can't even think of
Well, I
when.
might know what you mean. Like it's definitely a different reaction. Like when they were in his room when they were in bed together and they were laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe one of those scenes
Yeah.
would have been gosh.
It's been a while,
It's been
yeah.
a minute, but
But
you're
it's
right. I think
that,
we've seen those like intimate moments in bed have probably been.
and it's like that, but it's not like they're like getting it on. It's like they're just sitting there and talking and like she's leaning against him and fitting, perfectly the pieces together and they're laughing and it's just easy and the what you say a lot of the time, like that lived in feeling, which is not what it was with Avery. It was the early part.
Because like I'm thinking about the stuff that's happened this season, and we've had so much Ben's dad stuff that was really rough that like
Mm.
I've just been sort of looking back at some of the units of measurement I've been using. Like there was definitely a moment of connection in the living room bathtub situation. So like
Yep.
they definitely connected at the end of that episode for sure. When you start looking at season 3,
Mm.
he had a lot of really rough moments with his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we get into the shooting of it all, and we get into the anxious over Felicity's mom of it all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been a rough go for Ben this season 3 here.
Which is maybe another reason he turned to Avery.
Goodness. Well, I mean, look, that's our episode. I mean, okay, Fish,
Mm-hmm.
who's the worst? We're heading into our "You're the Worst" segment.
Oh, very nice. Thank you. I was missing that.
Yeah.
I'd just like to point out this is my segment. So feel free to at me, but Felicity, you're the worst. Ben is treating you like shit, and realizing his mortality is not an excuse, but at least it's an explanation. You're treating Noel like shit. And how can I explain that away? I can almost pretend that you don't really know how he feels. So he decided not to move to Seattle right after you said it would suck if he did. Coincidence? He's always checking in on you, there to support you, cooking for you, everything he can do to make you happy while Ben is off being uncommunicative, confused, and cheating on you and then lying to you about it. All right, maybe he's just a good friend. A good friend that you can't see is painfully, slowly dying inside. But the thing is, once Ben came back and you went to Noel's door to tell him, you were there to break his heart again, and you knew it. You didn't come in. You said how great he was. You saw his face when he talked about you not needing the breakup kit anymore. You don't know what you'd do without him? Really? You're surrounded by friends. You have a great support network. You have Ben. You were out that night laughing and touching him. Felicity, you're a great girl, but you're greedy. You can't have them both because you'll always be hurting one of them. If you've made your choice and it's Ben, then you've got to let Noel go. As good as it feels to have another person in love with you, a plan B, if you will, if you were a true friend, you'd let Noel get on with his life in Seattle with a great job and someone who can romantically love him back. Stop messing with the boy's heart. Because Felicity, it makes you the worst.
Felicity, you're the worst.
Yep. As I said, you can at me. I get it. It's probably not the episode you wanted to have her be the worst, but I've already done Avery. And honestly, I don't think I thought she was the worst.
I agree with many of your points here. I am concerned for the future because she's going to do a lot. She's going to keep doing this type of thing. Okay.
I had a feeling she would. Right?
Where do you go from here, Fish?
Yeah, because how do you have a love triangle without one of its points? So
love line, and that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Well, gosh. Yeah.
Melissa's flummoxed. She doesn't know what to do.
I don't know how much you're going to get added for that. I don't know. I mean, it is funny to me how much feedback we received about everybody else. Like people had a lot to say about Avery, about Ben, and about Noel. But what did they actually say about Felicity? And I think you're absolutely right that Felicity is culpable in a number of things. I think, both in how she is actively being with Noel. And I really like your point about how she isn't able to pick up what Ben's putting down around. She knows that the experience was something, right? But she doesn't know what, and even when Ben articulates it for her that actually, yeah, that saw her die, that was a big deal, and she can't really come up with a response on it. So I think even in that situation, she's falling really short. But I don't fault her for not having a lived experience to match Ben's. But I do think for a person who's so apt and prone to research things, why doesn't she do that in situations like this when it took her a minute to research a darn thing about alcoholism for his dad? They're just...
She has a perfectly good Dr. Pavone just sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah, she has resources.
She could have a discussion with.
And we also know that she's the kind of person who often likes to do research by having conversations with people. And there's probably options for that, so yeah. It's tough. It's tough. Let's hold Felicity accountable. Let's hold her feet to the fire. I like what you did there, Fish. Yeah. Now, of course, we've already had our favorite segment, which is, deflates me at this point in the conversation when we won't really be able to look forward to that. But if you would like us to read comments from you in future after you listen to this tape, you have to erase its segments. All you have to do is tell us what you want us to say. So send us your feedback. Write to us at themelissafish@gmail.com. It's Melissa with one L, two S's, themelissafish@gmail.com. That's how you do that. But in the meantime, you and I can rate this episode, Fish. Did you want to start, or do you want me to start? Where do you want to go with it?
I feel like I've gone first the last few times, so why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, I've been sneaky like that. Okay, so I rated this one was an obvious rating system for me, but the rating itself was tricky. So the unit of measurement is Eunice Crane's beef stews.
Oh, I mean, I was hoping it would be something out of the breakup box,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
not the box itself.
Eunice Crane's beef stews. I mean, come on. Okay. I've been a little bit all over the place in my mind with what I wanted to do with this, but I'm taking a stand.
Take the stand.
Okay, I'm gonna go bold and big on this one.
Do
And I
it.
don't even know if I agree with myself. I'm going with 9.1 Eunice Crane beef stews.
Wow. A
Why?
lot of beef stew.
I don't know.
I feel like more often than not,
I don't
you
know.
now don't know.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There were parts of this episode that I don't love around, like, I don't know if I love everything that I got with Elena. I don't know if I love all of the dialogue they gave me for Sean. But despite the fact that there are parts of this episode that are much weaker for me than others, the breakup kit is so iconic. Like, look at how much we had to say.
I know. This is definitely our longest podcast in a long time.
In a while, and I thought it might be. And it's also the episode where we were able to concentrate most of our feedback from the audience around these plot lines for Avery and Noel and Ben. And I think there's a reason for that. And I have a feeling that this will be the type of episode of our podcast where people will kind of tune in more. I'm guessing, because I think they remember this episode and I remember this episode. And I think there are great moments of acting and really iconic, just like the box of breakup kit stuff, like there's just something about it, and the pain in Noel's face, and the struggling, and the going on location to Avery's house and seeing her in her element, and Felicity doing a similar move to what Ben did last season, right around this time in the sequence of episodes, of going to him, traveling to him to make a plea. Whatever you can say about this episode, there are things that you don't really forget. And I think when you look through the list of episode titles, when you see the breakup kit, you know what this episode is. And I wanted to reward it for that. So 9.1 out of 10, Eunice Crane's beef stews.
Nice. Very good.
I have no idea where you're going to go with this.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about this episode. I think there were an unusually high number of just brilliant acting moments. So I really appreciated that about it. I do agree that, the Sean and Megan seance pickle stuff was kind of blah. But I remembered Keenan. So since I know that's actually going to go somewhere, I think it's an interesting plot line. I actually enjoyed that introduction, because it also helped me remember Molly. After all this time, I now remember her. Loved all of the architecture around the house. I mean, I really did like exploring that. And even though, again, I don't love what a lot of the characters are doing to each other, I think the show is tackling some very difficult things and showing us something that is real and some real reactions around it. At least to me, the way that it read to me felt very genuine in how flawed all these human beings are.
Yeah.
And that is life. I mean, unless you're a psychopath, like
we're
Avery.
looking at you, Avery.
You don't always have the perfect response. So, overall, I really liked it. I actually think the breakup kit part of it wasn't even the best part of the show. It was all the stuff with Ben and Avery and Felicity. I mean, the heartbreak with Noel hurts though. That is rough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, besides the Megan and Sean stuff, there isn't that much that I don't like about it. But I'm not going to go as high as you did. I'll give it an 8.5.
Whoa. Okay.
Loves. I did very much enjoy this episode. But it's one of those things where I can love you, but not love what you're doing at this moment. Felicity and Ben and Noel. Avery, I don't. Yeah, I love to not like or hate, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you. I appreciate you and your whole vibe. So it was one of our stronger episodes, I think, between the two of us. Yeah. And look, we'd love to hear from all of you listening. Write to us at themelissafish@gmail.com. Also, if you want to get into the conversation, talk with other people who love the show Felicity, go find us on Instagram at Felicity Podcast. Or if you're thinking to yourself, when do Melissa and Fish drop new episodes of this podcast? How can I be sure that I see them when they land or hear them when they land? That they reach my ear holes in some way? Well, the way you do that is by signing up for our newsletter. So, if you check wherever you're listening to this podcast now, look for the show notes. And the link to sign up for the newsletter is in the show notes. That's how you find it. So while you're there, if you have the option to rate and review the podcast, go ahead and do that, because it just makes it easier for other people to find it. Other people who could be your friends talking about the show with all of us. So that is all of that housekeeping. Now, the next episode is called Senioritis.
Aha.
Fish, what do you think that one's about?
Clearly a bunch of senior citizens come to see Ruby and her baby. No, wait. I remember senioritis. Yeah. It was like a whole semester of not giving an F about anything. So I guess I feel like these people still care about Noel is the only senior, right?
Correct.
Okay, so it's got to be Noel not caring about his grades, I guess. Maybe he gets a job and knows what he's going to do and then doesn't care about his grades anymore. Because the rest of them are juniors. Junioritis doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
No.
Nobody's ever said that.
No. I feel like this has to be
until this moment. That's an original word.
There you go.
Junioritis.
Coined here. Also known as not making it into college or any other career path you wanted.
Yeah. It's basically just avoidance of real responsibility that is going to impact your life forever.
Yes.
That's what junioritis would be.
Yeah.
It's why did it all not work out for you in life? Well, I had junioritis and nothing went my way.
Yep.
I lost all momentum.
It's weird though. So we're gonna have a very Noel heavy episode after this one. I don't know. That feels weird.
Oh, it feels weird. Like they've ever been good at doing B and C plots.
No, I'm just saying, I would have wanted to continue the stuff with Ben and Felicity. I don't know, they're together again, but I guess it's gonna be sad because Noel's sad. I don't know, maybe he'll meet someone named Lauren. Maybe Lauren is Ruby's baby. Does everyone hate Ruby's baby?
Wow,
we can do this again.
All the way off the rails. Yeah. Okay. All right.
First I thought Avery was Ruby's baby. Now maybe Lauren's Ruby's baby. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe some of what you said will come to pass. We'll just see. We'll see how it is. I think it's worth pointing out that this season is a bit shorter than the others. This one clocks in at a cool 17 episodes. And this one was what, episode 14? Yeah. So I think it's one thing I just am theorizing is like, I wonder if the Avery stuff was meant to be longer and got condensed, or if, I mean, we have another episode with her, but I want to say the first half of the season was normal length because, okay, so if I just look at, the problem is that I have all of these in my notes as my episode ratings, so I have to do a little bit of mental gymnastics.
Well, we had that huge break between December and like April.
Yeah, so episode 11 was Paul Conrad's. So I think that was the holiday episode because that's when Felicity's mom was back. So this is the amount of mental gymnastics I need to do when I'm figuring out my notes. So that was episode 11. So that would have put us on track to have a first half of 11 episodes and a second half of another 11, which could have brought us to the normal count of about 22. Yeah. That's about where we've been landing. So the second half of this season has been truncated. And I don't know if we are feeling that or if we're going to feel that when we get to the end of the last, end of episode 17. But it was just something I was thinking about there because I wonder what was crammed together.
Or completely left out.
To arrive at a quite shorter back half of the season. Like 5 episodes-ish is quite a lot of road to run out of. So,
but we also have to remember that season 4 is about the same length minus the extra episodes that were just added on.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
So,
right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Which I find way more problematic about season 4. And I'm not sure I find it problematic about season 3. But we'll have to see as we get to these final episodes of this season. Do we feel like we're noticing an issue in the amount of compressed time that they were given for this? I will definitely have a problem with it in season 4.
Yes, you have said.
They attempt to do a storyline that they shouldn't be able to do in the amount of time that they are given, and that disrupts everything for me. But I don't know that they back themselves into a corner that much with what they've been trying to build this season. So I don't know. We'll need to see.
Well, we've got 3 episodes left to find out.
That's the truth. Well, I can't imagine there's a single other thing that we could possibly say about the breakup kit. Am I right, Fish?
I think you're right.
Okay. Well, until next time, Fish, don't hook up with Ben while I'm gone.
I'm a fish.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.